One Show is a bona fide public service.
Unprecedented in modern times.
The team at The Weekly watches all the news so that you don't have to, and puts it all together again so you know everything you need to and nothing you don't.
Story after story.
The Weekly. If you give us 30 minutes, we'll give you the week.
The new season of The Weekly.
Some assembly required.
Back Wednesday, April 27 on ABC TV or log in to stream on ABC iView.
ABC Sport.
We begin this broadcast by acknowledging the traditional custodians of the land on which this match will be played today and pay our respects to their elders past, present and emerging. We extend that respect to Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander peoples listening.
This is ABC Sports coverage of the 2022 AFL Premiership season.
We're gonna be kids.
Grandstand AFL
On ABC Radio and ABC Sport Digital.
It's the second game of this Good Friday. It's the West Coast Eagles come into this match against the Sydney Swans off the back of one of the club's finest ever wins. Their stand-ins stood up for their first victory of the season last week, a 13-point win over Collingwood, while Sydney also going to this game off the back of a victory, though they did have to survive a massive scare against North Melbourne. This was once the fiercest rivalry in the AFL. They shared two grand finals between them. They were decided by less than a goal. And they share some history at this ground too. The first ever AFL game played at Perth Stadium between these sides. It was a night that Buddy Franklin ran riot. He still holds the record for the most goals kicked in a game at this ground, coming in round one of 2018. He kicked 8. The Eagles don't know they won't have to deal with him tonight. He's one of several big names missing out with a broken finger. And of course, the revolving door of West Coast ins and outs, well, it stopped spinning as quickly as it has been. 6 changes for this game. 3 A-graders return. West Coast do welcome back their captain, Luke Shuey. Elliot Yeo returns as well. And Jamie Cripps comes in for his 200th game. But they are missing some keys. Nick Natanui out with a knee injury. He'll be missing for up to 3 months. And Jeremy McGovern, their key back, out due to health and safety protocols. It's a game both sides would think they're a big chance of winning. West Coast looking for just their second win of 2022. Sydney looking for their 4th. Clint Wilden with you alongside Ben Cameron in commentary. We'll hear from Ben very shortly. But first, let's get the thoughts of our experts. How does this one play out? How will the Eagles go? Again with 6 changes, but with some keys back. Shane Woewodin, Brownlow medalist, Sharrod Wellingham, Collingwood Premiership player, with us on Grandstand AFL. Welcome, gents.
Evening, Clint. Sharrod, great to be here again this evening. Great atmosphere. What a wonderful night for footy tonight. Looking forward to this battle. Sydney, as you said, Clint, a little scare last week against the Kangaroos at home. But a formidable outfit, as we know, in the top of footy and the brand they do play. And West Coast coming off a great little victory last week against the Pies too. So I'm really looking forward to this midfield battle tonight. We have, although a little bit underdone, an experienced outfit from West Coast with their seniority coming back off a little bit of COVID and some few injuries, virtually against a very young, vibrant, energetic Sydney midfield group. Kennedy being a sub, Parker might spend a little bit of time in there as their more senior figurehead in there. With Mills played a bit of footy too, but that midfield battle with both the teams' first rucks out is going to be exceptional tonight. I'm looking forward to that one and see how that goes. And a big night for Bailey Williams. It's a good opportunity for him now to get some consistency, play some weeks solid of footy, minutes. Solid minutes of footy, and try and stamp himself and be able to play AFL footy at this level.
Yeah, very much so. I totally agree, Willie. I think it's definitely going to be one through the midfield. Went over to Sydney a couple of weeks ago, as we know, and I was really, really impressed at the Sydney two-way running. They've always been really well renowned for it, but those young guys that you mentioned have come into the side, and from all reports, it's one of the things that they review really, really harshly. Well, not harshly, but in detail. And so I think that this oval is a lot bigger than the SCG, so it's going to be a little bit harder for them. So if they can continue doing that and make the most of the excitement that comes with being in a travelling team. I don't know if you remember what it was like to being a away game, but I used to love it because you're there together for a few days, and you just feel like this is a Coliseum. You're going up against a big team like West Coast. You really feel like you're up against it, and to come away with a win would just be incredible. But yeah, as you mentioned, the two number one rucks for Sydney being out for Sydney and West Coast is a pretty big deal. So the reliance on the guys at the ground, Shuey coming in, it's pretty big, and I think we'll go a long way for West Coast.
Not as much celebrating from you in the box tonight as we saw at the SCG when your mate Buddy Franklin kicked his 1,000th goal. So he's not here, and I admit bias to this because they're both from my WAFL club, but Logan McDonald, high draft pick. We know that Sydney have had the ability, because of the likes of Buddy Franklin ahead of him, to ease him into AFL football. What should we expect from him tonight? Because, again, playing against men as an 18-year-old, he dominated the local competition here. We know what a good kick he is. And this is the sort of stage where you could make your presence known.
Yeah, absolutely. And I watched that documentary series that was on the managers, and there was a fair bit of it that was on McDonald. And you could sense from listening to him talk that he was just waiting to be given this kind of an opportunity. He's very grateful to be able to do his apprenticeship under Bud, but you can just sense that he just wants to be able to grab it with his own two hands and control that forward 50.
Absolutely.
And so nights like this or days like this, he's got to make those chances count. And so for him, huge opportunity to go out. And we know how he marks the ball exceptionally well. Work rate's really good, but I'd really like to see him probably just try and stay a little bit closer to goal.
Yep.
Because he gets up the ground and takes marks up on the wing a lot. But if he can take those marks 30 to 40 out, I think he can put himself in a position to have a few shots on goal.
Yeah. Big job for Reid and McLean then on that, to support him. Take that pressure off the kid so he can go and do that. So there's the three tools. I think they're going to need a little bit from Parker and Heaney, particularly up front.
And Heaney's been hitting the scoreboard so well.
He's a match winner.
Yeah, so when he goes forward, it won't alleviate too much time for Logan, but it would just allow it. And Reid's the one who should be getting it. He's got a huge tank. He loves getting up the ground.
Hit the logo.
Hitting up towards the centre of the ground, which both sides are doing this year, which I've really enjoyed from both sides, is a little bit of a change in their tactic, that they're both willing to take the corridor more so than they have over the last couple of years. And so love to see Sam Reid come up the guts and then swing and put it up to McDonald.
A surprise when the teams were named. We saw that Josh Kennedy, this is the Sydney Swans, Josh Kennedy had been managed. He'd been technically out of the side, but then he comes back in as the medical sub. I would have thought, I'm not in, obviously, the inner sanctum in Sydney, that a 33-year-old, if you want to manage him, you don't put him on a plane and send him across to the other side of the country. Were you surprised to see Josh Kennedy being put as the medical sub for this game?
Yeah, I was.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, I totally agree. If you're going to be managing minutes,
leave him home.
Leave him home. Don't take him on the longest trip in AFL.
It is an important game as well, raising money for Legacy WA. It's the annual HMAS Sydney 2 match between the Eagles and the Swans. It honours the lives of the 645 crew who were killed when the HMAS Sydney 2 was sunk off the WA coast on November 19, 1941, the worst naval tragedy in Australian history. And we'll remember the lives of lost with a number of things around the ground today. And the toss of the coin has just taken place downstairs. Warrant Officer Len Carr tossing the coin. Who's won it, Ben Cameron? Welcome to you.
Yeah, Jamie Cripps in there for the toss of the coin for the West Coast Eagles in his 200th game. He's won the toss. They'll kick to the Farmer Freeway end of the ground in the first term.
Let's head downstairs and find out what it's like. Boundary side, Bridget Lacey joins us. G'day, Bridge.
Hello, Clint. Great to be down here. The atmosphere, they just got up on their feet, the Eagles fans, as part of the pre-game hype here at Perth Stadium. Glorious, glorious conditions, 26 degrees, blue skies overhead and not much of a breeze at all to speak of, so it should be a great night for footy. The starting benches tonight for West Coast, Elliot Yeo, Luke Foley, Jermaine Jones and Hugh Dixon, and the Medi sub for West Coast is Jake Waterman. For Sydney, Chad Warner, Logan McDonald, Baden Campbell, Errol Goulden, and the sub, as you mentioned, is Josh Kennedy.
Good on you, Bridget. If you are around the grounds, a number of people from Legacy WA setting up marquees and wandering around the stadium. If you can donate to them, it would be absolutely tremendous. And if you're not at the ground, just go to the Eagles website or the Eagles app and you'll find the link to donate for Legacy WA. Great to see the fundraising activities that do go on around these Good Friday games. Repeating earlier tonight, the Bulldogs by 68 points over North. Hopefully this one's a little bit closer. It's The cross-country rivalry. Will it be the Eagles or the Swans? Should be a beauty. Great you could join us on Grandstand AFL to get us started. Ben Cameron.
So Bailey Williams and Pete Laddams eye each other off. Laddams wins down the tap, going after it. Nelson for the Eagles, coming in off the wing. Feeds a handball to Redden, handball to Rioli. Handball to Duggan, goes on his left boot and finds the milestone man, Jamie Cripps. He marks on his chest, retreats back to Rioli. He marks just backward of the logo for the West Coast Eagles. Opening 21 seconds. Rioli tries to kick forward of the wing, can't get it past McLean, who takes the juggling mark for the Swans, gives it off to Lloyd, chips it short, and Bell comes up and marks on the wing. Another Bell wearing 32 running around in WA. This one clearly the best. Hello, Peter, as his short kick goes to Blakey, who then moves it on short to Lloyd. The Swans chipping it around on the broadcast wing. We've played 52 seconds, no score.
At least when James gets it, no one rings the bell downstairs. Kick inside forward 50. Big grab. Strong mark. Up there was Reid. He drags in the football about 49 out from goal. It's a 45-degree angle to the right.
Pretty keen just to take territory then, weren't they, the Sydney players? And good presence by Reid early in this game. Good pack formed.
Pack of 6. He was fourth in the line of betting. Mark deserves a goal. Kicks on its way. It's out to the right. It misses to the right. Minor score. Sydney first on the board. They're opening 90 seconds of the game. Grandstand AFL and ABC Radio, ABC News Radio and ABC Sport Digital. The Swans by behind.
John Longmire down on the bench to start the match here today. Dean Cox is right here. The most grateful in the country as Shannon Hearn goes long towards the middle of the ground. Off hands picked up by Lloyd for Sydney. Off to McInerney. He was good last week. Finds Rowbottom attacking edge of the square. Short inside 50. And Ronk marks 49 metres out, as good as directly in front.
Just be a question of distance here for Ronk, I'd imagine.
Yeah.
But again,
his greatest strength is kicking.
Did burst onto the scene, of course, a few years ago. 7 goals in his third match at the MCG. He drives it on target. It's got the journey, but it's out to the right.
First long kick in didn't really favour West Coast mids, did it? Sort of fell to the back and able Sydney to be able to cut re-entry inside 50.
Swans 2 behinds through 2.5 minutes. The Eagles yet to score.
So the Eagles through Witherden to Naish. Kicks towards the outer side of the ground. Up there, Paddy McCartan had 2 bites at the mark. Did well. Hands to it. Couldn't take it first time. Then falling forward to his left was able to drag it in. Has it just shy of the logo. Southern wing here at Perth Stadium. Runs towards the logo and then kicks inside the forward 50. Again, a big pack up. Barras got his hand down to it. Mills was there at the drop. Hand pass went awry under pressure. Hearn affected the tackle. It goes to the Eagles out towards Langdon, who's then tackled over the boundary line for a throw-in at left half forward for Sydney.
Sydney's defensive structure is just really good. You can see their spacing and their ability, their ability to not let West Coast exit the defensive 50 at the moment. It's great.
Throw in 60 around from the attacking goal for the Swans. Southern side of the ground. Latham lays it down. There's a free kick.
High.
And a free kick going the way of Parker. So Luke Parker just drives it long towards full forward. Trying to find McLean. Barras with the swirl. Ronk roves it off hands. Zigs when they all zag. Snaps on goal and misses. It's the post, the left-hand goal post. A crooked 3 behinds to start from the Sydney Swans. The Eagles yet to get it in their attacking 50 through the opening 4 minutes.
Been frustrating for Ronk. Seeing it cannon into the left-hand goalpost. There's Witherden again with the kicking duties. Long beyond defensive 50 towards right half back. Paddy McCartan brings it to ground. This is McInerney. Hands it on to Rowbottom. Swans with it. They sweep it towards the southern wing. Going backwards to Lloyd. Kicks inside forward 50. Off hands, spills down. Nelson sees it bounce past him. Oh, he waited. Has to then really put under pressure from Florent. Picked up then by Duggan. Kick goes into traffic just beyond defensive 50 for the Eagles. Nelson's over the top of it. Heaney holds it to him. Umpire circles will ball it up. 60 out from the Swans attacking goal. Sydney heading to the city end of Perth Stadium in this quarter. They lead by 3 behinds The Eagles are yet to score.
Umpire puts it aloft quickly. Latham slaps it down. Mills onto it. Loses it in the Duggan tackle. Comes out to Kelly. Spiral towards the wing for the Eagles. Lloyd goes back and spoils it. Comes down for Tom McCartan. Sweeps a handball to his brother Paddy, who kicks laterally and dropping the mark. McInerney has time to recover across halfback here for the Swans. Then goes short up the middle, right onto the chest of Rowbottom. So Sydney doing all of the early attacking here. Rowbottom short to Parker, attacking edge of the square. Now he looks inside 50 in the Heaney direction, trying to get separation. He does, but he gives away a free kick. So Witherden to get it in the left back pocket for the Eagles. The Swans 3 behinds, the Eagles yet to score. 5.5 played opening term.
Inside 50, 7-0 in favour of Sydney as Cripps, the 200 gamer, marks at left half back for West Coast. He'll kick towards the commentary wing. He wants Kennedy in front. Parker. Umpire spotted a free kick coming the way of Kennedy, being infringed in the marking contest.
The first opportunity past centre at the moment. They've owned territory this first 6 or 7 minutes. Sydney.
Kennedy goes on a bit of a run, a long way from where the Eagles fans would like him to be. Kicks towards a packet left half forward. No one can take the mark. Spills down. Chance for the Eagles again. Williams was strong. Edwards runner going through. And it's been spotted a free kick. Eventually it'll come back to the Swans. They got it at right half back. It's against Redden. Lloyd was the player who was infringed. He has it. Goes on a couple of steps and kicks long towards right half forward for Sydney. Swans had 2 in front. Barris strong spoil at the back. Yo's been crunched. He goes to ground. He stayed down for a moment. Ball spills out the back. The Swans with a chance to hurry their way forward. Gilden got tackled. Somehow got a hand pass away. Spills down to Reid. Lost it. Punched it forward. Interesting disposal. Came to Parker. Kicks the full forward. Robin's back there and takes the defensive mark for the Eagles.
Moves it on quickly to Naish. Still in the D50 for the Eagles. He skips back off the mark. Takes his time. Assesses his options. Now looks long towards the wing. Good kick. And he finds the Milky Wizard, Hugh Dixon. How about I take the mark? Neutral territory on the southern side of the ground.
Good work rate from Dixon then.
Yeah.
Work from one side to the other. Really hard work.
Goes on his left leg. Forward of the wing, and there's Tom McCartan taking that intercept mark. Between the brothers, they've been averaging 7 intercept marks per game this year, but he turns it over. And the mark taken by Witherden for the Eagles comes inboard to Rotham, who gesticulates at his teammates, then sweeps a handball to Barris, who'll retreat with the kick. Back inside the defensive 50 for the Eagles to Edwards.
Edwards puts it out towards right half back. Chance to build up again. West Coast through Foley. Kick down the line. Dixon couldn't take the mark. It'll spin in the direction of Laddams. Does he keep it in? Not quite. Little juggle over the boundary line on true centre wing. Southern side of Perth Stadium. 3 behinds the Swans. The Eagles yet to score. Bridget Lacey's on the boundary.
Luke Shuey's come to the bench pretty early in the quarter and looked gassed. I might tell you, welcome back to AFL footy. Elliot Yeo was fine after being put down in that contest.
It was Laddams coming the other way that got him. Swing and a miss from Warner.
Good hands.
They win it anyway, Sydney out of there. Golden gets the kick away, but it was Mills with the lovely hands Shane told you about. It's inside forward 50, but Barris takes the defensive mark for West Coast.
West Sydney have been very good here through the arcs. The ability to hold West Coast up.
Defensive structures have been really, really good.
Kick to the southern wing. Darling worked his opponent, Tom McCartan, out from underneath it, but Tom could go back and gather the football. Warner picked it up off the deck. Tackled nicely. That was a strong tackle coming from Redden. It holds it in. Ball up the decision right on the logo southern wing. The Swans by 3 points, 8.5 gone in the opening quarter.
Laddams shoves Dixon out of the way, takes it out of the ruck, floats it towards half forward. Duggan going back, almost takes the mark, follows up at ground level in a Reid tackle, holding the ball. It was textbook, had prior opportunity.
Option was there to use his hands too, I thought, initially, before taking the tackle on.
So Reid will drive it long towards full forward. Barris with the fist, brings it down at ground level. Florent onto the footy at half forward for the Swans. Back to Lloyd, looks inside 50. His kick goes over the head of his target in Bell, and Edwards is there to kill it out of play. A throw in the right forward pocket here for the Swans. They've done all of the early attacking. The inside 50's 9-zip. They've kicked 3 behinds. The Eagles yet to score 9.5 played.
Ball back into play. Dixon battles against Laddams. Laddams won it down for Sydney. Comes to Warner. Hand passes back to Goulden. He'll go towards Lloyd, who marks it right half forward. He's about 60 from goal. So they've conceded a little bit of field position here, the Swans. Ball still in their possession. It's a congested forward line. The kick will go towards full forward. Massive pack there. Oh, coming in from the side. That's a great mark.
Clean.
Flying up McLean. He had to be at full stretch. And he was surrounded by both his own teammates and a heap of Eagles defenders and somehow could drag in the footy, fell to ground, but he'll go back and have a shot from right in front.
It's their second mark now. First one was Reid, second one to McLean. A little bit of presence early.
Just floated across the pack, timed it perfectly. He had Edwards right on him, but just timed his leap to perfection.
So McLean is right in front from no more than 20 metres out. He kicks the goal for Sydney. He maintains an incredible record so far this season. He's got 7 straight off the boot. And Sydney, with the first of the night, they're 1-3-9, the Swans. The Eagles yet to score. 11 gone in the opening term on Grandstand AFL. Clint Wilden with you alongside Ben Cameron in commentary, our experts Shane Woden and Sharad Wellingham.
It was a nice patient build-up. I mean, they just spat it out sideways to Lloyd, who didn't rush it in, allowed the forwards to get to work, do a little bit of checking on their opponents, and the launch from McLean just timed it absolutely perfectly. A really nice finish.
It's a great story. He was initially a supplementary pick before the 2019 season. Now playing his 27th game, and as Clint mentioned, 7 straight this season from, well, this is 5th match of the year. Back in the middle, Laddams knocks it down to his own advantage. Winder coming through. Shuey there picks it up for the Eagles. Handball to Naish, handball to Foley. Kicks out towards Dixon on the wing, overshoots him. And that allows Campbell to come in for the Swans, though he loses it in a tackle. Now the ball spits out. Langdon for the Eagles. Clever handball out in front of Naish. Can he gather it? He does, just inside the field of play. Goes inside 50. And when you go in like that, the McCartan brothers mark it. This time it's Paddy who takes the intercept mark for the Swans and moves it on short to Campbell.
First inside 50 for West Coast there.
Swans have had 84% of the play in their forward half as Campbell towards the southern wing, stretching. McDonald couldn't mark, went after it a second time. Ball still bouncing around. It's there to be won. Naish hand passes backwards. No one in particular. Foley goes back by hand again to Hearn, who's able to pick it up. Rotham's kick got touched by McDonald, following through. Spilled forward and then turned over. Naish, that's a clanger down the throat of a Swan in Laddams.
Just one to watch. Darling a bit, saw him back play with the seeming hand injury, Bridge, if you can keep an eye on that.
So Laddams at left half back for Sydney. Kicks towards left half forward and Hearn takes the mark. Did he give away the free kick? The Eagle with him? He did. Barris not allowing opponents to fly at the football. They play on quickly, Sydney. And McInerney's inside forward 50 mark defensively there by Redden.
Just had Heaney one-on-one on Witherden deep.
Out to Naish. Oh, what is that? Dangerous crick. Almost turns it over. In fact, he has. The Swans pounce. It comes now to Heaney. Got it from Haywood. Heaney, ugly-looking hand pass out into the left forward pocket. It spills out to Ronk, who snaps on goal, and he's kicked it.
Double Cobra.
Wow. What a mistake by West Coast to cross their half-back. Heaney, McLean, and then the Ronk, who this time kicked truly. And Sydney have got their second in 13 minutes. 2-3-15 to the Eagles yet to score. Bridget Lacey's downstairs.
Jack Darling staying out there for now. Ben obviously mentioned that he's looking at his left hand. He keeps looking down at it as if he's in pain, but he hasn't come to the bench, so we'll keep an eye on him. And Elliot Yeo, when he did finally come to the bench after that collision with Peter Laddams, he has been talking to the doctors ever since then, but he doesn't look too concerned, so I do expect him to come back on.
Not sure who Naish was trying to...
Was it a shank?
Could have been.
He was trying
to pull it across the body?
He was trying to pull the kick back inboard.
Yeah, I think where he were under the heat. Just
send it long
territory.
up the wing.
Yep.
Sydney absolutely dominating this opening term. Redden hacks it off the deck to get the Eagles the clearance, but it's picked up by Campbell, jams it on the boot, kicks around the southern wing. Bell almost juggles the mark. Falls to Rotham, though. He's tackled quickly. It's not coming out of there. We'll get a ball up. Bridget Lacey downstairs.
I may have spoken too soon. Elliot Yeo's heading down to the rooms with the doc.
So not a happy return for Elliot Yeo as yet. McInerney onto the loose footy for the Swans on the southern wing to Campbell. Nice spin. Handball to Chad Warner. As time goes with the handball to Rowbottom. Handball behind Reid. Reid goes back to Rowbottom. He's under pressure there from Rioli. Now Winder picks it up for the Eagles. Handball to Foley. Handball to Naish. Handball to Foley again, and then Rotham. He kicks around the southern wing to a leading Darling.
Darling marks. Massive cheer around the stadium. Pauses though. Hard up against the boundary, just forward of the southern wing. Kicks in the direction of Kennedy. Good spoil came at the back. Tom McCartan won it down. Hand pass inboard to Blakey. Fires the hand pass forward. Missed Warner. Able to scoop it up then was Williams. Bailey Williams back inside forward. Dixon up. Couldn't mark. Should have. Was able to regather. Gave it to Kennedy. Snapped around the body. The ball will bounce and tumble across the line for a throw-in. Right full forward.
Talk about the two-way runner. You had 3 Sydney forwards defending their defensive 50, then the ability to get back and help their defence.
Swans by 15. Eagles yet to score. Just a second inside forward 50 for West Coast. It's thrown back in. Williams tries to take clean possession. Dropped out of his hands. Scooped up here by West Coast, but strong tackling sees it locked in again. Florent coming one way. Who was the other? Campbell climbing up off the deck as Cripps, the 200 gamer, will throw the ball aloft. Williams against Reid, one down by the Swans, and they get a clearing kick away that'll go over the boundary line, helped though by Barras, who made sure it couldn't go past him. Throwing at left half back for Sydney. 2-3-15 the Swans. Eagles yet to score. 16 gone in the opening term. Grandstand AFL on ABC Radio, ABC News Radio and ABC Sport Digital.
Inside 50s 11-2 the way of the Swans. Dixon in the ruck for the Eagles. Wins the palm down in front, but Warner onto it for the Swans. Handball to McInerney. Tackled quickly by Winder. And he's wrapped up. No prior opportunity. Ball up.
The disposals, there's not a huge discrepancy, but it's just their inability to get any territory when they're getting the ball.
Quality, correct.
Ball up at right half forward for the Eagles. Reid wins the tap down. McInerney tackled quickly out of play by Naish. And we'll get a throw in 60 around from the attacking goal for the Eagles at the Farmer Freeway end of the ground.
Just spotted Jake Waterman, who's the medical sub, racing down into the rooms for the Eagles.
Not a good sign for Elliot Yeo as Reid hooks it down again. Picking it up, Hayward gets a handball to Florent. Handball to Ronk. Handball to Bell. The Swans quickly down the southern wing.
Sydney away. Oh, Bell. Kick off the side of the boot. Out of bounds on the full. It was a great opportunity for the Swans.
They were away there at 2-3 in their forward 50.
Yeah, the Eagles dodge a bullet.
Brassard pressed early and wasn't going to impact, so they were out.
He's happy to have the ball in his hand from the free kick, though. Barras sends it back towards right half forward. 2-on-2 battle. Darling at the back got hands to it. Couldn't mark. Blakey had it for a moment. Spilled out. It came again to Reid. Then to Cunningham. Now to McInerney. Spears it into the chest of McDonald, who marks it centre half back. He turns, goes right up the corridor. A perfect kick finds Hayward. He can measure the kick towards full forward. The Swans on the run. Oh, McLean dropped the mark. Had a second go and it still misses it. They might have butchered a goal here. He taps it back to Bell, and then Bell can't find a teammate. He misses Ronk and the Eagles can clear.
Oh, he counted his Easter eggs a little early there. Hayden McLean, unfortunately. The Swans have won it back on the southern wing. Here's Chad Warner. He'll drive it long. Back in the McLean direction, over the head of him and Barras. Barras goes back. He knocks it through. Rush behind. And a minor score. 2-4-16 the Swans. The Eagles yet to score through 18 and a half minutes.
It's not the worst missed goal of the year. The Bulldogs, I think they've got that locked up, but it wasn't great as the Eagles make a mess of trying to get it beyond defensive 50. Duggan, his kick's taken by Golden, who sends it back towards full forward. Bell's there. Might have got a hand pass away illegally. Umpires say it's okay, and then Duggan again can clear. In the middle of the ground, it bounces the way of the Swans. They'll sweep it back. Comes through Campbell, got it from Rampy. Campbell's hand pass missed its target. Cunningham has to go to it. He's tackled by Cripps. Just got a hand pass out to Warner. I'm not sure that was a legal disposal either, but he's allowed to play on. The Eagles, though, come up with it. Kelly through the middle. Now to Williams. Hand passes to Darling. Runs inside 50. Snaps around the body. That is a stinker of a kick. It's out of bounds on the full, about 20 metres to the right of goal.
Positive errors at the moment.
I was going to say there's some moments that neither team would want to see back on the replay, I reckon. 2-4-16 the Swans. The Eagles yet to score, 19 gone in the first.
So Tom McCartan in the back pocket goes long to the wing and onto the chest of Laddams. Former Port Adelaide player off to Goulden. That smooth left boot to Rowbottom. They've got men everywhere inside 50. McLean again. This time he clunks it under no pressure. 30 metres out directly in front. And he'll go back and kick for goal from almost the same spot he kicked his first.
Thought about playing on for a moment. Rock running by goes, no, point to the goal. Kick the goal.
West Coast can't defend turnover at the moment.
Not at all. And they're struggling to get back defensive side of the play.
What is that? Is that just a work rate issue?
Sydney are just moving the ball really clean.
And they're out there free when they're in offence too.
So McLean, plumb in front, 30 out. Whacks it through for his second. And he makes amends. Sydney are dominating this fixture. They're 3-4-22. West Coast yet to score. We've played 21 minutes in this opening term on Grandstand AFL. Clint Wilden, myself, Ben Cameron, Shane Woden, the Brownlow medalist, Sherrod Wellingham, the Premiership pie, and Bridget Lacey downstairs.
Yeah, Jake Waterman did come back up from the rooms. He's returned to the back of the bench with his training top still on, so but still no Elliot Yeo after he went down with the Docs. So we wait and see what happens with Elliot.
He could be down there doing the concussion test.
Yes,
they still do that?
I think so. It was an errant elbow or arm that hit him high through that contest. Yep. And they'll battle West Coast through the midfield with their senior boys coming back through COVID protocols. Time away from training in the game.
From the bounce, Williams wins it down for the Eagles to Rioli. Hand pass over the shoulder, intercepted by Laddams for Sydney. Heaney under real pressure from Kelly. Didn't get a genuine kick away. Naish tracks it towards the boundary and gets away from Heaney. He's with it for West Coast. Naish kicks towards right half forward. Blakey won it to ground and then Campbell gathered it and leapt over Blakey and takes the ball out of play. About 70 out from the Eagles attacking goal at the Farmer Freeway end of Perth Stadium.
He finds the footy, Naish. Accumulates
Works
it.
up and down that wing. He can tidy up a few of the disposals.
He's a good find for West Coast.
10 disposals so far for him as Laddams has 2 goes at it. Spilling out to Mills. He's tackled by Williams with some support from Redden. The ball's locked in. Umpire says we'll have a ball up. West Coast yet to score. The Swans are 3-4-22. 22 gone in the first.
Laddams lays it down for Parker. He's tackled quickly there by Kelly. Sweeps away a handball. Florent tackled out. Willie Rioli gently escorts him over and we'll get a throw in. 55 around from the attacking goal for the Eagles. They haven't found it as yet. Williams and Laddams again. Williams gives him a little nudge underneath it. There's a free kick too. Advantage paid to the Swans. Here goes Heaney taking a bounce. He'll kick towards half forward and they're out again. McDonald marks 52 out. Wow. He says, I like the look of this and kicks a wonderful goal.
Good finish.
That is top shelf from Logan McDonald. Welcome home to WA. And the Swans 4-4-28 lead the Eagles yet to score at the 23-minute mark of the first term.
Really good work rate again, offensive running. McDonald started in line with that stoppage up on the wing. Obviously a turnover and first to react, but the kick from Heaney was just absolutely down his throat, centimetre perfect.
Yeah.
But a huge finish. Edwards couldn't
go with him.
No,
he didn't want to go with him.
Just turned a foot and was absolutely off to the races.
Out. Their foot skills through the arcs at the moment.
Yeah, it's very good. Cutting them up, isn't it?
Yeah, that was from stoppage.
Buddy who?
It was a little bit.
Taken at pick 4, 2020 national draft.
Very smooth moving.
Knows how to kick a big goal and take a big mark. Logan McDonald. The moment that was as the Swans win the clearance. Laddams gets the hand pass forward from the restart. Gives it to Rowbottom. Thumps it inside forward 50. Hearn got a touch on it. Spills to ground. McLean is able to gather. The hand pass back to McDonald again. He snaps. He goals. He's got 2 in a minute. Oh, Logan McDonald. Well, Buddy Franklin made this ground his own on every occasion he seems to return here. Perhaps Logan's decided to do the same thing. 5-4-34. That's Sydney's score. The Eagles zip 0 zilch. 24 gone in the first.
Well, it's plus 16 at contested footy. And that's
where they're getting done, isn't it?
Getting done.
Sydney are just
It's good hands by McLean there. You know, it's
Sydney are just, and I noticed this a couple of weeks ago, they just look like they're moving across the ground really well as a team.
And I was just wondering, Shaz, with you raising that, I mean, Don Pike, when he was at the Adelaide Crows, that was their calling card. Their ball movement was elite. And it seems to be his strength. And when he came into Sydney, there was a spike there, and it feels like they're very good at it again. Back in the middle, Jack Redden fighting after it for the Eagles. So too Rowbottom. Going in, Kelly stands up in a Mills tackle. He eventually drags him down. I mean, he's one of our own. He worked with us here on ABC Sport, but I just wonder whether it is the Pike influence as Laddams takes it out of the ruck. Jams it inside 50 for the Swans. Barras shins it forward. Mills comes through low, picks it up, floats it to full forward. Parker's there. Can't take the mark. McDonald comes through. Was he taken high? The umpire says no. He'll ball it up. 15 metres out from the Swans' goal.
So that's the circumstance where I'd love to see McDonald being the deep, not Parker.
Yeah. I'll change it up a bit throughout the night, won't they?
Umpire puts it aloft. Ball comes down at ground level. Williams picks it up, clears the defensive 50 for the Eagles. Kennedy stands underneath it, can't mark. Ryan comes through, dribbles a kick, picked up by Blakey. Back inside 50 and eventually Witherden marks for the Eagles on his defensive 50.
Sliding out to mark. He bobs up quickly and sends it towards left half back.
That's very good, Sydney.
They're just so quick into the defensive structure.
Yeah, close the exits.
Foley had nowhere to go, so he's forced to kick short to Nelson, who's right up against the boundary line at left half back.
But they do it early, and they anticipate the turnover really quickly.
Nelson kicks to a 2-on-1 against Kennedy. Ball travels over the top, though. Sliding through Cripps did well. Great hand pass over his shoulder while he was on the deck. Finds Jones. Kicks the Eagles inside forward 50. Leaping Campbell got a fist on it. Spills down Goulden. Breaks the Ryan tackle. Spun away and then kicks beyond defensive 50. Beautifully worked the Florent. He'll go to the outer side of the ground. McLean sends it to Parker, who pauses as Swans surge forward. He kicks inside the left forward pocket. The ball's allowed to bounce. Beautifully gathered, though. Here's Reid. He measures the pass to McDonald. Spoil came from Nelson on the deck. Ronk, though, went a hand pass backwards. Umpire spots a free kick for a throw. It's against Ronk. He did loop it up in the air nicely, but couldn't get away with it. It'll be Duggan's free kick, and he'll put it towards Hearn, who marks in the right back pocket for West Coast. Sydney's lead is 34 points. The Eagles haven't scored. 27 gone in the opening term. Bridget Lacey downstairs.
Elliot Yeo has wandered back to the bench. He's just sitting there with his teammates now, so hopefully that's good news. And Adam Simpson's just arrived for the end of this quarter.
Kelly kicks long to the wing. Williams with hands on it. Close to the boundary line. Campbell shrugs them off as he takes it over. The Eagles looking to avoid what would be their second scoreless term this season. The first against the Dockers in the Derby, and Sydney, it's already their highest scoring first term this year. Laddams slaps it down, but straight to Naish. He knocks it back towards Williams. Coming through Florent, gets it off to Goulden. Little kick to Naish. It's just gone the 15. No, the umpire says play on. Naish kicks quickly and out of bounds on the full. Got the Swans to get it back. So the Lizard, Blakey will have the kick just backward of halfway on the southern wing.
Very good off half-back this year. Blakey.
Kicks high. Blakey towards left half forward. They come from everywhere. Big flight at the back from Parker. Mark, though, in front. McDonald. Eagles fans thought there might have been another touch on that on the way through. McDonald doesn't care. Goes towards Heaney. Can't quite mark in the left forward pocket. Had two Eagles to deal with it and in front. Able to sit over the line for a throw-in. 25 out from the Swans attacking goal.
It was the right kick, had the match up. Heaney on Witherden.
Heaney will gobble them up 60-70% of the time.
Laddams wins it down, spills to Shuey, can't gather. Dived on top of it, hand passed out the back to Kelly. Did well, quick hands to Duggan, then to Naish. Thumps it beyond defensive 50. He wanted to try and find Ryan. That's a good mark. Up against Rampy. Had to use his body, was able to nestle the ball into his chest. He takes a short run and stabs the pass in the direction of Cripps. Did he get a nudge from behind? No. Umpires are all happy with that. Cunningham marks and he'll move it short. On in turn to Lloyd, who stabs it to Blakey, who marks at the defensive point of the centre square at left half back. Swans by 34. The Eagles yet to score. And that is quarter time. What a start by Sydney. They've dominated every stat that matters, and they're smashing West Coast on the scoreboard. Inside 50s, 21-4. Just one of the very lopsided stats. Adam Simpson, plenty to think about for West Coast. John Longmire would be delighted with this from the Sydney Swans. 5-4-34 to West Coast, no score. And the goal kickers, 2 to McDonald, 2 to McLean, 1 to Ronk. Nothing to mention at all on the West Coast side of the ledger. The earlier game today, the Western Bulldogs by 68 points over North Melbourne, 21-13, 139 to North's 11-5-71. And here at quarter time at Perth Stadium, it's Sydney Swans 5-4 to the Eagles 0-0. Wherever you're listening on ABC Radio, ABC News Radio and ABC Sport Digital, this is Grandstand AFL.
The election. It's easy to get lost amongst the polls, policies and pledges. If only there was a way you could make more sense of it. Bridget Brennan from ABC News has an election hack, a way to find out how your views compare to the major parties.
Go online to Vote Compass, answer a few quick questions. You may be surprised where you stand on the political spectrum.
Vote Compass, exclusive to the ABC.
Go to abc.net.au/Australia Votes.
The 2022 AFL Premiership season. Grandstand AFL.
On ABC Radio and ABC Sport Digital.
Congested forward line. The kick will go towards full forward. Massive pack there. Oh, coming in from the side. That's a great mark. Flying up McLean. He had to be at full stretch. So McLean is right in front from no more than 20 metres out. He kicks the goal for Sydney. Out to Nation. What is that? Dangerous Creek almost turns it over. In fact, he has. The Swans pounce. It comes now to Heaney. Got it from Haywood. Heaney, ugly-looking hand pass out into the left forward pocket. It spills out to Ronk, who snaps on goal, and he's kicked it. Wow. What a mistake by West Coast to cross their half-back.
To Rowbottom. They've got men everywhere inside 50. McLean again. This time he clunks it under no pressure. 30 metres out directly in front. And he'll go back and kick for goal from almost the same spot he kicked his first. So McLean, plumb in front, 30 out, whacks it through for his second. And he makes amends towards half forward. And they're out again. McDonald marks, 52 out. He says, I like the look of this, and kicks a wonderful goal. That is top shelf from Logan McDonald. Welcome home to WA.
McLean is able to gather the hand pass back to McDonald again. He snaps, he goes, he's got 2 in a minute. Oh, Logan McDonald.
This is the 2022 AFL Premiership season.
On ABC Radio and ABC Sport Digital.
He's standing up in the absence of Buddy Franklin. Logan McDonald, just his 10th game of AFL football and 2 impressive goals for the Swans. 5-4-34 to the Eagles, yet to score in that opening term. And coach Adam Simpson called them together as a group at the start. They didn't go to their lines to begin with. Simpson addressing them as a group. He'd have a bit to say, I'd reckon. Sharad Wellingham and Shane Woewode, our experts on Grandstand AFL.
Yeah, I'd love to know what the messaging was from Simo there. It would have been, pull your socks up, lads, or we can do a lot better than that.
Absolutely. They're getting belted through the arcs at the moment. Their mids can't get their hands on it. Sydney winning at the contest and then getting on the spread really quickly too. I reckon they're built up from half-back, Sydney, and their ball use at half-back sort of build up, and then when they see the opportunity to go fast,
they take it, and the skills are allowing them to continue the flow from that decision to go fast.
But the Sydney forwards are uncontested. They're all by themselves for God knows reason, but certainly at the source, and they're winning field position and getting it going. I think they're plus 700 metres gained already on West Coast as a unit to date, so they are well on top at the moment and in all facets of the game, and scoring from stoppage and scoring from turnover.
The big one for me is that scoring from turnover. They're either creating a contest and a stoppage and halting West Coast forward play, and then as soon as they get to that contest, it's either a stoppage and they're winning the stoppage and then going back forward. On the other side of the coin, West Coast aren't taking any ground when they get the ball. That last little bit of play from Ryan was the only kind of attacking offensive play that we saw from them, where he took a mark forward of the play and then ran and played on and took on the game. At the moment, just chipping sideways too much and not taking enough ground.
Some of the numbers, and the one that stands out is the inside 50s, 21-4 the way of Sydney. Contested possessions plus 14 Sydney. The tackles West Coast lead, but that's because they haven't really been near it, 13-12. Disposals 108-80 the way of the Swans. Leading ball winners, Naish with 12, Witherden with 8, Lloyd with 8 for the Swans, 7 for Rowbottom, 7 for McLean.
Eagles fans will be thinking back to the last time these sides played after that first quarter, which was Cardinia Park in round 16 last year. Odd place, admittedly, to play, but because of COVID restrictions. Sydney smashed West Coast in that game by 92 points. It was the Eagles' third lowest score in their history. Bridget Lacey's downstairs. Bridge.
Great news for Eagles fans. Elliot Yeo's in the centre bounce to start this quarter.
West Coast fans will be hoping they can fight their way out of this. Adam Simpson has stayed downstairs. Luke Shuey's on the bench to start this quarter. A bit of a chat with him. A couple of the other Eagles youngsters as well. Dixon is there and Rotherham. So it's Latham against Williams. Sydney heading to the Graham Farmer Freeway end in this quarter, to the left of our broadcast position. From the bounce, Latham's won the telling tap, but it was down the direction of Yeo. He couldn't take it. Spilled out to Warner. Swans on the attack immediately. It comes to Mills. He thumps it towards full forward. Big fly from Reed. Spoil came at the back, though. Spills to ground. Bell threw the boot at it. It bounces. Oh, that's remarkable. Bell with a socket goal. From about 35 metres out, in line with the right hand behind post, he just threw a boot and saw it tumble through. It's all Sydney on Good Friday. 6-4-40. The Eagles yet to score, and it took them less than 28 seconds.
A cough up by Elliot Yeo at the centre bounce. But get through the front. All let's see, the West Coast backs, they can't win contest behind the ball.
And then when it's being brought to ground, they just had 3-on-1 at the ground. Just got to get more numbers. They're not working hard enough defensively, and Sydney are on top of the ground. But from that transition from Elliot Yeo's turnover, they were gone. A line of 5 Sydney players were just gone.
And when luck's with you, as it is at the moment, when you're playing that well, the way the ball spun beautifully, almost turned back towards the goal.
We might need to make this interesting here. Going over or under the 92 points from the last meeting is...
to the front again.
Warner just waltzes out of the front of the centre bounce to Parker. Now Hayward, time to steady, fires on goal and misses. Way to the left.
Getting belted at stoppage, West Coast.
Eagles will bring the ball back in through Witherden. He finds Hearn, who marks just about where the defensive 50 arc meets the boundary line.
It's hard to transition the footy from your D50 in the modern game.
This is just what Sydney are doing so well. Look how defensively well they're set up.
Trap.
Pass was short to Kelly, who then goes short again to Duggan. He would look forward and just see Swans everywhere. Nothing immediately presents itself, so he's going to be forced to kick down the line to a contest. Getting in front, Lathams actually ran underneath the football. No one could mark it. Spilled to Williams. Kick got smothered. Came out the side and punched forward by Ronk. Just slapped it off the rampy hand pass. Comes towards Parker. Tackled immediately by Redden. It's locked in. Umpire says we'll ball it up right beneath our broadcast position here. The ABC box on the northern wing.
So they look flat-footed at the stoppage.
Lathams palms it down. Out after it, Parker. Tackled immediately by Yeo. Might have been into his back. Umpire says play on. Comes out the side. Redden moved it to Duggan, then to Naish. Forced to go right back inside his defensive 50. Edwards is there, and then he'll go beyond defensive 50 to be marked by Duggan. It is all Sydney. 6-5-41. The Eagles yet to score. 3 gone in the second.
Duggan just drives it long towards a contest on the wing, looking for Williams. Lathams hands to it. Darling picks it up off the deck, shovels out a handball. Lloyd will carry it out. And we'll get a throw in. Bridget Lacey downstairs.
Yeah, pretty interesting now. You guys mentioned that both coaches now coaching from the bench, both from the back row as well. But John Longmire, despite their situation, he's up and down on his feet the whole time.
Premiership teammates, of course, these two coaches back in 1999. The Shuey comes away with the footy, gives it off to Hearn, who's under pressure as he kicks, goes straight up and down. Unable to take the mark there is McInerney. Mills arrives in support. Parker picks it up, goes back to McInerney. The Swans come away with it. Good kick on the 45 to Heaney. He marks on the logo, pierces it past to Hayward, who marks on the attacking edge of the square, runs around the man on the mark, drives it long. McLean in the pocket, in good position. Barris does well. Or he doesn't. He gives away a free kick.
Front on contact.
So McLean to get it 15 metres around from the behind post in the right forward pocket.
It's that kick inside 45 again off half back. Just gets the McInerney that hit Heaney.
Yep, and he just swung.
But rolled onto someone again, loose.
And that is what Adelaide used to do.
Yeah.
They used to just change lanes, as they called it, and just bite off that 45 and it would open it all up. I think there's a lot of Pike influence in their ball movement. McLean looking a little bereft of how he approaches it. He's going with the check side and a little narrow. No dice. McLean's third, 6-6-42, plays no score. 4.5 minutes into the second.
And midfield numbers, McLean.
Yeah.
The key tool.
This is a frustrating stage for West Coast because they'll start getting angry at each other when things aren't going right. So they need to be really strong and positive while still in this position.
Witherden and across the face of goal to Barris, who's I think was bumped by McLean as he got a kick away. Duggan went towards left half back, and now it's in the hands of Nelson, who marks about a metre in from the boundary. Again, West Coast trapped. They're forced to kick to a contest once more. Big kick towards left half forward. Kennedy flew at the back. Paddy McCartan got a touch on it, spilled down for the Swans. Mills kicks around the body towards right half forward. No mark taken. Spill came from Barris, but it spills down again to the Swans. With it once more is Bell. Puts a kick out towards left half forward. It's made to look good by Ronk, who gathers around and sends it to full foot Heaney. Oh, Heaney up and marking. That's a great grab. We know he's a Mark of the Year winner, but absolutely flew and gave his opponent no chance. He'll go back and have a shot from right in front.
One of the most enjoyable players to watch launch at a marking contest because he doesn't hold back at all, ever. He throws everything out at every marking contest, and extremely strong hands once again from Heaney.
So Foley was the player he marked over the top of. He stands on the mark. Heaney from point blank range kicks the Swans 7th. It's a shellacking now. 7-6-48. West Coast yet to score. 6:15 gone in the second term. It's a great Friday if you're a Swan supporter. Grandstand AFL on ABC Radio, News Radio and Sport Digital. Clint Wilden alongside Ben Cameron. Our experts, Brownlow medalist Shane Woden, Premiership Pie, Sharad Willingham.
See, I didn't mind that play from Nelson a minute previously where he took territory and go long, but you saw all the mids and West Coast looking for the short 25 minute. Yeah. You're not going to get it in this trap at the moment by Sydney. So set yourselves up ready to take territory and be at the next contest, win that, or at least go to stoppage.
Reset.
At least you're taking territory.
12 straight for Isaac Heaney this year. Dixon in the ruck, wins the tap, but here go the Swans again through Mills. Kicks them inside 50 in the Reed direction. Edwards attacks it, brings it to ground. Now McLean gets involved for the Swans. Bell there too. McLean goes again. Dragged down in a tackle. Held in, will get a ball up. 25 metres out from the Swans attacking goal. Big 6-year deal for Isaac Heaney in the pre-season as well. Both rucks with hands on it. Yo spins out of trouble, tries to get it on the boot, drops it. Shuey picks it up, clears towards the wing for the Eagles. Ryan goes up, juggles the mark, hits the ground running, and the Eagles are out.
Able to shovel a hand pass forward. Not a great one to Jones, but he gets around his opponent. Hand passes to left half forward. Darling forced to go back. To Kelly, who couldn't take it. Racing by Nelson, missed it as well. Swans, will they be able to mop it up? Not quite. Darling threw the boot at it across half back and tries to effect a tackle. Ball jars free. Blakey with it to Rowbottom for the Swans. Bounces the kick up the corridor. It comes to Reid. Hand pass to Bell. Works it out to McLean. And he marks it left half forward. The Swans have got so many options forward. They could raffle it if they want. It goes to Gulden. He just strolls inside forward 50. The kick towards full forward. It should have been better. He's missed to the right-hand side. They had a choice of 4 that they could have gone to inside forward 50 then, Sydney. 7-7-49 the Swans. The Eagles, well, they're just awful.
It's lack of touch from Tim Kelly.
Yeah, big time.
Fumble at half forward.
Yet to score, West Coast. 8 gone in the second term.
Witherden ambles to the pocket, drives it as long as he can. Dixon hands to it, doesn't complete the mark. Big tackle from Yohan Warner.
Lucky there,
Lucky, very lucky.
Maybe had a little bit of prior opportunity.
Took the tackle on.
To East Fremantle products from here in the WAFL. Going head-to-head. Umpire puts it aloft at half-forward for the Swans. Mills just gets it onto the boot. Bounces it inside 50. Rotherham a fumble. Puts himself under pressure. Foley's there to help out. Now Yo sweeps a handball towards Naish. Close to the boundary line. Time to recover. Handball back to Foley. Handball to Shuey. He kicks towards the wing. Marking contest. No one able to mark it. Blakey at the fall of the ball. Loses it in the tackle. Caught holding the ball.
No transition right now, though. They're just ambling forward after winning the contest. So Sydney is sprinting.
7-7-49 plays no score. Sydney annihilating the Eagles. Here's Naish running forward of the wing, pulling it back towards the central spot, looking for Rioli. Not quite. Florent at the fall of the ball. Handball knocked down. Then he applies the tackle. Umpire's circle. Holds his arms to his chest.
How much
Pull
cleaner
it up.
is Sydney tonight?
Cleaner,
so clean.
harder.
Work rate is
running
through the
harder.
roof.
Have not fumbled yet.
They lead by 49 points. 7-7 plays no score.
Dixon knocked it forward, then helped on by Shuey. Bounces towards full forward. Jones was there for a moment. Swans, though, as always, with numbers. Blakey looking to tap it away. And then Rowbottom with a thumping kick into the middle of the ground. And then dropping the Mark Williams. That was a shocker. Sums up the Eagles' night. Spilled out, then socked forward off the logo by Reid. Reid goes again. Lovely little chip around the corner. Socket in the direction of McDonald. He's got 2 to beat McDonald for the Swans. Still goes out after it. Duggan comes the other way. McDonald affects the tackle. It's been locked in. Umpire will ball it up.
How's that for a 6'6" young fella? Couple of sockers. Tackle the hunt to keep it in his forward 50.
Parker in there battling away too for Sydney. One down by McLean. Parker off the deck, snaps a goal, misses. Was touched off the boot. Geez, it wasn't far away. Sydney thought it was a goal. Parker asked the question, politely, mind you. 7-8-50, the Swans. The Eagles yet to score. And I say that with 11 minutes have been played of the second term.
Well, he went with the poker face. He just started celebrating, Luke Parker. Umpire didn't buy it. Witherden goes to the pocket and Edwards, who goes back to Witherden at fullback for the Eagles. And as they have been for much of the night, they're hemmed in again. Kicks to a contest. Reid comes in from the side, almost takes the mark. At the spoil of the ball, Rioli. Spill of the ball, I should say. Now Naish onto the loose footy. Kicks forward of the wing to Darling. Darling takes the mark. They stream inside 50. Jackson Nelson in space. That's where he heads. Nelson goes up. Spoiled away. Campbell closed late. Fisted away out of play. And red and white jumpers come from everywhere.
That's just congratulating the hard defensive work. They're just doing it so well.
I mean, it's obvious. It's 7-8-50 plays. No score through 12 minutes in the second, but they are doing everything
right.
Much, much better.
Bad as we've seen the Eagles playing a long time. Cripps tries to make some amends. He bursts through the 200 gamer, though the kick's up into the air. Bounces in the left full forward position. It spilled down. Tom McCartan gets a kick away. Was he taken high? He was. By Kennedy, looking to apply some pressure. So the ball will come back for Tom McCartan. He'll have it in the right back pocket for Sydney.
Shift it and they're out here.
It's hard to see West Coast, apart from maybe a bit of luck, actually been able to conjure up a goal here as the Eagles go across the face. The Swans go across the face to Lloyd, who marks it left full back. Now gets told to move it on. Stunned silence around Perth Stadium. A kick beyond defensive 50. Attacking it was Laddams, couldn't mark. Spills out the back. Goulden saw it off his boot, tumbles towards the boundary line. It'll be a throw-in just shy of the Swans interchange gates. You mentioned that 92-point margin. West Coast at the moment be staring down the barrel. Their lowest ever score is 112-18. Windy Hill result against Essendon back in 1989. Throwing in. Laddams takes possession again for Sydney. Gets a kick away towards left half forward. Herner's back there to Barris. Breaks the tackle of Bell. Throws it on the left. Kicks high up into the air towards right half forward. Still Sydney have the numbers for 2-on-1. They've given away the free kick. Didn't really need to do that, Sydney. They'll come back towards Dixon. He'll have it at right half back for the Eagles. 7-8-50 plays no score. 14 gone in the second.
So Dixon just sets it up. Waits a kick inside 50. Hands to it. Langdon doesn't mark. Coming through. Laddams, the big man. Tucks it under the arm briefly. Kicks towards the middle of the ground. Little slip from McLean. Has to go back. Knocks it up in the air. Oh, Ronk. One-handed gather. Then just jams it on the boot. Inside 50. The race is on. Edwards will get back first. He picks up. He's under immediate pressure from McDonald. Gets a handball away. Now the Swans come from everywhere. Might have been an in-the-back tackle. The umpire lets them play. And we'll get a ball up. 5 metres in from the boundary line at right half forward.
Ronk had more time, didn't he?
Yeah, I think he was surprised that it popped into his hand.
He had numbers.
Flicking it down, McLean doing the ruck work. Redden's handball, fumbled by Foley onto Winder. Jams it on the left boot, kicks to the wing. Blakey gathers for the Swans, goes back inside 50. Ronk can't mark this time, but lands like a cat. Gives it off. Warner, flying shot from 45, and he's kicked the goal. Another West Aussie coming home and doing good. The shock of blonde hair and the celebration. He got into the Eagles fans. They're 8-8-56. Plays no score at the quarter-hour mark of the second term. Shane Woden and Sharrod Wellingham.
Well, it's a mauling, absolutely. And again, clean by Sydney. Front half turnover, score. What I want to see now is the leaders take real control of this group right now of West Coast. They get together. From there, really despondent, and you're 56 points down, yeah, but no one went to anybody in that hold. It was hands on hips, heads down, poor me. Nah, don't go insular.
You've got to really
now.
hope they don't go insular.
Yep.
It is nothing good Friday for West Coast.
Elliot Yeo playing down back on Heaney as well now.
The Eagles have been nothing short of appalling. Dixon wins the tap for them. Comes down towards Warner. Tackled strongly to ground by Jones. That was better from West Coast. 16 gone in the second term. They haven't troubled the scorers. The Swans have put on 8-8. And they'll go forward again here, Sydney. Lloyd was able to get in the way. Thumping kick up the middle from Campbell. Ronk is there. Got the arms free. Well tackled by Yeo. Ball spills out. Eagles will get the free kick, or they'll take the advantage. Came to Rodham, then to Yeo, and he spots Rioli, and he has it on the wing. So from the northern wing, Rioli's kick out towards Kennedy, sliding forward. The mark's been paid. He's 70 from goal. Can West Coast find a major here? Can they break this drought? Kelly comes off the ground for a rest. Josh Kennedy puts it long and high towards full forward. Ryan flew, couldn't mark. Umpire spots a free kick. It's going the way of the Eagles. Liam Ryan, the player who was being held. Can he go back and kick West Coast's, well, first of anything, behind or major? At the 17-minute mark of the second term, he'll be kicking from a 45-degree angle to the right and from no more than 30 out.
Really let the umpire know that he was infringed there, Ryan. Just he likes to fly early, and Rampy a little bit of a shove in the back. Definitely there. But Liam Ryan certainly let the umpires knew it was there.
Liam Ryan, he should kick this. He must kick this. He does. The drought is broken for West Coast. It's taken them until the 18th minute of the second term to do so. But at last they've kicked a goal. Sydney are 8-8-56. The Eagles 1 straight 6. It is still a thumping on Grandstand AFL. Sydney by 50 points. Bridget Lacey downstairs.
Well, Callum Mills has been on the bench for a little while, and the physio has been working on his right quad by the looks of it. It looks like he's about to come on the ground, but we'll just keep an eye on him from here on.
Certainly there, the free kick, as you said, Jared. There was a couple of holes prior to it as well, yeah.
Back in the middle, Reid and Dixon in the ruck. Umpire lays it down. Reid slaps it down. Winder emerges with it. Bursts away from them, kicks the Eagles to full forward. Pack forms off hands. It comes down at ground level. Rampy gets there first. A couple of fumbles and gets a handball away. There's a whistle and it was out of play.
I don't think you're recognising Jonesy with that haircut. Jermaine Jones coming out.
Jermaine Jones. Fresh trim.
Fresh trim, looking fast. I love him when he gets up to the midfield.
Yeah. Gives the midfield something different.
Point of different.
Umpire spins it back in. Flicked away, close to the boundary line, gathered by Langdon, who gives it back to Redden, snaps towards full forward, a bouncing ball. Picked up by Ryan, jams it on the boot, misses to the left-hand side.
Campbell free kick.
There's a free kick, it'll come back for the Swans.
Even look at getting Langdon up into the midfield.
I think Yo behind the ball was a good move as well.
Move. Yeah. The guys who have missed a lot of footy, get them out of the engine room, put the guys who have been playing, get their legs in there.
Eagles' biggest turnaround from a half-point deficit is 39 points. At the moment, they're 50 points down against the Swans. As Sydney come forward again, Bell battling with Rotham. Rotham knocked it to ground. Ronk goes by, slides on the footy, but a hand pass away. Still a chance for Sydney. Florent goes back to McInerney, kicks inside forward 50. Ball's allowed to bounce. Yo will mop it up defensively in front of McDonald. I'll kick towards the commentary wing here. The foot of Naish, can't find a teammate. Wakey with it to Rampy for the Sydney Swans, to McInerney, hand pass to Rowbottom, kicks towards the 50, goes over the top of Laddams, he'll turn, but Yo got back there first. Yo tackled, spills out in the direction of McDonald again, goes to Laddams, goes off the outside of the left boot. That's remarkable from 40 out.
Free kick to Yo.
Definitely one there against Yo. For Yo, I should say.
Well, he's kicked his first, so the officials, no interest in the free kick. A ninth for Sydney, 9-8-62. The Eagles won straight 6, 20 gone in the second. Wow, the Czech side, that was quite a wonderful finish from Laddams, the
Beautiful
big fella.
finish.
It's been good, Laddams.
He has. A couple of times burst free of the ruck contest with the ball. Just seeing a replay of the contentious decision.
Yeah. They got him high.
Yo.
And in the back.
Yeah, it should have been a free kick to the Eagles, but it's that sort of night.
They don't change their mind.
Nope, and it is that sort of night where things, nothing is going their way.
A popular player, obviously, came over from Port in the summer. His first goal in the red and white. Back in the middle, coming through Rowbottom. Parker leaves it behind. Shuey's got it. And we'll get a secondary ball up in the middle. Laddams wins the tap down again. Parker crashes in. On his backside, flicks out a handball to Mills. Away to Lloyd, who sends it to the logo and Heaney. So the Swans just running rings around the West Coast Eagles all night. Heaney short to Mills, who shorts it again and finds Lloyd. In the coaches' votes last week, Jake Lloyd, been a good player for a long time now. Drives it long towards full forward. Reid launches, almost comes down with it. Parker roves and then dribbles a kick on goal. It misses everything, tumbles out. And a throw in. Deep in the left forward pocket for the Swans. They lead by 56 points on 8:62. Plays one straight 6, 22 minutes into this second term.
Inside 50s, 34-9. Marks inside 55 to zip. Both in favour, of course, of Sydney. Throwing in. Laddams palmed it down. Bounces around. Comes out to Shuey. Just got a kick away as tackled by Parker. Mills was there for the Swans. Went back to Goulden. Forced to backtrack again. This is Blakey. Stepped away from Darling. From left half forward. Sends it to full forward. Flying in from the side. Rotham got a fist to the footy. Sees it bounce through for a minor score. 9-9-63, the Swans. The Eagles are 1 straight 6. 23 gone in this, the second term.
Even on the kick end, just zero movement for Shannon Hurn to choose from.
So he ambles to the right back pocket, whacks it as long as he can. Laddam's in a good position. Williams goes up, 2 hands to it, doesn't mark. Gordon roves for the Swans, sweeps a handball back to Lloyd. A retreat with a kick to centre half back, and Rampy can mark. Kicks a UFO out to McInerney. Side spinner. It's hard to do.
Duggan does it pretty well.
Yeah, I find a way time to time as well. McInerney, backward of the wing on the southern side of the ground, goes short to Rowbottom. James Rowbottom.
Love that in kicking drills. Duggo would be coming at you going, oh, which way is this going to spin?
Rowbottom kicks towards half forward, off hands. Williams roves and thumps it back right into the middle of the ground. McCartan underneath it. This is Paddy. Drops the mark, recovers at ground level, almost turns it over with his kick. Warner picks it up. He's tackled by Langdon and he's taken high. So Warner to get the kick for the Swans in the middle of the ground.
Kick works its way out on the bounce to Goulden. He's at left half forward, goes inside forward 50. Good defensive mark, Williams. Dropping back into the path and standing in front of Reid. Took the mark for the Eagles and then turns it over. Back to Goulden again, who has it at left half forward for Sydney. Goulden, inboard kick, finds Mills. Mills from just inside the centre square, kicks into the right forward pocket. Safely marked there by McInerney.
John Mills has been very good too, isn't he?
14 disposals for him. So McInerney looks like he's going to fancy his chances from about 50 out. 1-1 for the season, 13 goals in a 34
backing him in here
game career. Justin McInerney trots in. Oh, he's kicked straight into the man on the mark. It never went above about 4 feet. Bounced off Cobham's chest. We had that one back, Shane Woden. Rowbottom hands it to McInerney again. Wobbles a kick inside forward 50. It's there for Shuey. Tackled by Wrong. Thought he disposed of it illegally. Umpires say play on. Spills out again. Parker tapped it in the direction of Rowbottom. It comes to Ronk once more. He's tackled the ground by Kelly. Thought that was holding the ball. Umpires said play on once more. Shuey kicked up into the middle of the ground. Ryan flew, couldn't mark. Down towards Darling. Sydney with a chance once more. Warner got the arms free. The non-controlling umpires spotted a free kick very late. That will go to the West Coast.
I think it was because he was rubbing his head.
Langdon had it, moves it to Kelly.
So Kelly wants to send it out wide to Duggan. Sherrod's favourite kicker in the Eagles team. Perfect drop punt on this occasion. Spots up Elliot Yeo backward of the wing. So Yeo, he likes to drive it long. A high ball to half forward for the Eagles. Ryan underneath it. Off hands, he gets it off hands, then loses it. McInerney comes up with it for Sydney. Handball to Warner. Handball back to McInerney. Alongside the logo, he goes for a little gallop. Has a chaser in Shuey. Now goes short. Beautiful kick. And finds Heaney. 52 metres out from the attacking goal for the Swans. He says, come at me. Running on McInerney. He marks 30 out deep in the right forward pocket. It started with him at halfback and it finishes with him in the right forward pocket.
Huge work rate, as you mentioned. Started with him at that contest in the defensive half. Had Luke Shuey chasing him and just a little bit too much toe. He is a very, very fast player, McInerney.
Just tonguing it a little bit at the moment.
Just has to kick over the man on the mark here.
Yeah. 10 coaches' votes last week, and that is a slick finish from the pocket.
You just wanted to stud up the first time.
That is a thing of beauty. The drop punt from the tightest of angles, and it's one of those nights for Sydney. Everything's coming up red and white. They're 10-9-69. The Eagles 1 straight 6. 27 and a half minutes into the second.
I remember when he burst onto the scene a few years ago and how exciting he was. His goal celebrations were just so emotional and he just absolutely loved it. But he's turned himself into a really, really damaging player.
He certainly
that
has.
Run and carry. He's not just staying down in the forward line. He's working really hard through that midfield at the moment.
Feels like he's got great speed endurance too. Like he doesn't stop running and he's quick too.
10 goals, 8 different goal kickers for the Sydney Swans. They lead as 63 points.
No one stood out for Sydney. It's very team-orientated tonight.
They're smashing West Coast. Williams wins it down. Eagles might get this away through Nelson though. Stole it and then gave it back to Williams. He kicks long towards full forward. Darling at the back, couldn't mark. It's there for Kennedy. Spins, threw it on the left from the tightest of angles. He kicks the Eagles second. Something for the home fans to cheer about. The noise of affirmation has been missing tonight. It's been the sounds of silence. But they find their voice as we close in on half-time. The Eagles double their score. They're 2 straight 12. The Swans 10-9-69. 29 gone in the second.
I reckon there was a push on Darling.
It was a little
on Rampy there.
A little bit of a push, but
it was good by Nelson.
You're allowed to do that little push now. It's not hands in the back. You know how they change that interpretation, as they call it now?
No two movements.
Yeah. And I think because he was falling back, it made it look a little less severe, but it was definitely on the line. Great goal from Kennedy.
694 of them now for Josh Kennedy in his career.
Bounce back in the middle. Bailey Williams wins the tap. Then he tries to follow up. Kennedy loses it in a tackle. There's a free kick. It'll go the way of Sydney. Bit of remonstration as well. Some of the Swans not happy with it. McInerney and Bailey Williams having a little largy-bargy, but free kick will go to McInerney. It goes short to Blakey. The kick, not the required distance, but has time to recover and spot up Laddams on the wing. Called to play on. Now he's in trouble. Cripps has got him, and he steals it for the Eagles. Gives it back to Rotham. He kicks it out of bounds on the full.
Good pressure by Cunningham.
And it's been a little bit like that for the West Coast Eagles. So Blakey to get it. Adam Simpson scratches his chin. So what can I do? How can I swing the magnets around at halftime? Blakey goes long for the Swans. Off hands. Hayward. Handball away to Laddams. Handball on, trying to get it to McLean. Picking it up wrong. Oh, he was clean. Gives it off to Parker. Unselfish. Chips it to Heaney in the pocket. 45-degree angle. 25 metres out. Left forward pocket. And Heaney, who's already got one, will go back and kick for goal.
Their contest work. The ability to keep the ball moving, free in their hands.
The ball's never dead, is it?
Oh, numbers just kept...
He'll kick the banana. He bends it around. Not quite enough.
A lot on that late, wasn't there?
Yeah, didn't hit it well, did he? Heaney, and
I think he wanted the time from the bench.
Yeah.
He
was worried that he was going to arc around and the siren goes off. It's quite smart from Isaac Heaney.
I'm sure he was filthy himself by missing.
58 points is the lead the way of the Swans.
10-10 to 2 straight. Half-time seconds away. The Eagles beyond defensive 50. There is half-time. It's a noise of dissension, not affirmation at Perth Stadium. It's been all about the Swans. Sydney have flown west, and they have given West Coast a football lesson. 10-10-70, 2 straight 12. Sydney's goal kickers, there's plenty of them. 2 to McLean, 2 to Logan, singles to Warner, to Heaney, to Laddams, to Ronk, to McInerney and to Bell. While for West Coast, they're 2 goals from the boot of Liam Ryan and Josh Kennedy. They led by 34 points at quarter time, Sydney, and have stretched that out to an impressive 58 points at half time. As I mentioned before, the Eagles would now have to create a bit of history. Can't see it in any way, shape or form, but 39 points, their biggest ever fight back from a half-time deficit, that a number of years ago against Geelong. Sydney, they look the goods tonight. It's a good Friday for them, and if you're wearing red and white, what have you made of it all? Sharrod Wellingham, Shane Woden, goodness me.
Goodness me. Exactly right. They have just looked like nothing can go wrong at the moment for Sydney. Like you mentioned, the ball's just always staying alive. It's always in motion. In and around the contest, it's never been given up on. And they're fighting, and then as soon as they win it, they are just going in a wave. Their transition from contest and kind of defence to win the ball to straight offence has been awesome. And it hasn't really felt like it's been stoppage transition goal. It's felt like it's been turnover contest turnover goal.
I think it's 6-6 from turnover.
Yeah.
So, it's been a real balance, hasn't it, of how they're scored through stoppage, through turnover, both back half and front half.
I mean, on the other side of the coin, West Coast, that I think they looked a little bit better in that second quarter. They looked like they worked a little bit harder, but they were fumbly and dropping marks and not able to capitalise when they did win the ball. I felt like they worked a little bit harder to win the ball, but then just let themselves down a number of times.
Through some fundamentals.
Yeah.
For me, Sydney have been elite at the contest tonight. Their ability to be clean, win ground ball or win contest, either behind the ball or in front of it. And they look so damaging forward of the centre, don't they?
Yeah.
Like the ability to get out.
They're finding themselves in space.
So much space. They've got multiple options when they get forward. And through work rate, that only does happen. So they're just running all over West Coast at the moment. And only the committee know inside the four walls whether players are ready or not. But it's a challenging question tonight. Do you bring back, yes, they're named players, but are they physically ready?
We spoke about this off air before the start of proceedings, and I was really surprised the likes of Connor West, who I thought was terrific, was left out. And I know these are big names coming back, but the guys who had done the job the week before then miss out and are match fit and match ready. They're not the bigger names, but I was surprised that those sort of players, particularly West, who I thought was a match winner against Collingwood, have missed out. And again with Elliot Yeo, we know how good he is, but only 70 minutes of game time.
There's so much footy.
And West Coast did this before. They did this last year. Rushed players back in, made multiple changes to bring their bigger names back in.
Yeah.
And I thought they got it wrong last year. I won't say within hindsight I thought they got it wrong here, though looking at the scoreboard it shows perhaps they have, because they haven't shown any of the fight that they showed against Collingwood.
You shouldn't be going back and just getting your minutes and then, all right, I'm ready.
Yeah, no.
You should be going back and having to dominate and knock the door down to get back in.
Yep.
That's what that's what happens at a good side. You don't just walk back into the side. And I know that they are really down on personnel, but you should go back and have to dominate at that level, not just clock up your minutes. And then you come in confident and going, all right, I'm going to go do what I did last week at AFL level.
Because they're up against a young midfield group that works extremely hard right now, and they get shut off. You can see Kelly can't cover the ground, Shuey can't cover the ground, Yoey's been pushed back because he can't cover the ground, or there might be a little bit from his knock, I'm not sure.
That'll be because he can't cover the ground.
Can't cover the ground. So you're having a makeshift players who don't generally maybe train as inside mids and know the craft and know what's going on in there. So
McInerney, Rowbottom, Warner have just been incredible through that midfield. They just look at that, they never give up, and then defensive and offensive running has just been first class.
So those players you mentioned from West Coast, West and O'Neill, for example, are not in the same class, with no disrespect to either of them. But because they've been match hardened, they can cover the ground.
They will keep up with them.
That's exactly right. And that's where, again, outside of looking in, I was really surprised that West Coast decided to swing 6 changes for this game. And it seems, well, the scoreboard tells us.
Especially after such a win that was spoken about as one of the best in the club history. Thank you.
Back him in.
Yeah, back him in. Let him go represent the club again.
Yeah. So people would go, and I get this too, they'll look, calm down, fellas. They're missing Natanui and they're missing McGovern. But that's not where they're getting beaten.
No.
Those guys missing is not the reason why they're getting beaten. Yeah.
They look like statues. When they're kicking in, how many kick-ins have they had? They've had 10 kick-ins. It's like they're playing king of the pack and they're just kicking it up to the defensive 50. No movement, no structural changes. Maybe let's try and play skinny and leave one side of the ground open. No, we're just going to kick it down to the junction again and again.
And not even a situation where they will run to one side and then run into open space. They're not trying that
anything.
Either. Yeah. Sydney have been magnificent, by the way.
Oh.
I know we're whacking West Coast. Sydney have been magnificent.
I love watching Sydney play.
Yeah, same.
And Sharad hit it off the head. They pride themselves on their two-way running. They pride themselves in transition, and it's part of their DNA.
That's part of the Bloods. That's not just like the coach who comes in and, I want this team to do this. That's part of their Bloods culture, is their two-way running.
If you want to play at this footy club, or you want to play in this footy team, this is what you have to do before you start playing. So, and they're just outworking it at the moment. So around the contest, been exceptional, been clean. It's been a big, stark difference, hasn't it? How clean they have been at ground level.
Yeah.
Whether it's a half volley or going through the contest, one touch, bang, hands out, gone. And the forwards have been reaping the rewards from it.
Yeah. Yep. Because they're able to keep their running patterns going, because they know that, all right, it's coming out that direction. I'm going to run over there. They're able to do that running pattern, that 2 possessions earlier, because they know that it's going to stay in their hands, which just isn't the case.
Goulden and Ronk and these smalls up there, they're creating havoc at ground level. They really
Goulden's
are. They
exciting
look
player,
dangerous. Yeah, they've been exceptional. And their backs have been terrific. They've defended really well when the ball has gone there.
Couple of text messages to get through. If you'd like to get in touch with us, of course, you can do so. As always, 0437 774 774, 0437 774 774. Graham says, team not at the ground but listening in. Should Barras have an M in front of his surname? It looks like he's been towed up down back. Well, I would say that he's really been under the pump, Tom Barras. He's not been their worst. The number of times the ball's gone inside 50s, the Eagles' defence have been absolutely battling. So he's not the Lone Ranger and having a tough day down back, Tom Barras. And good to have Grant on board. G'day, everybody. Great call as usual. Listening in from the Harbour City via ABC News Radio. Main thing tonight, of course, support for Legacy, lest we forget. Go Swans. And also good to have Tim Kelly back for the Eagles. Thank you, Grant, for getting in touch. If you're shell-shocked, as I think this entire ground is, how are you feeling? Let us know if you're in the West, 0437 774 774. If you're a Swans fan, how are you feeling right now? 0437 774 774. We'll get some more of our text messages after we take the latest from the ABC Newsroom.
ABC News with Satyam Weinstein. A Liberal senator has resigned from federal parliament after discovering he was a dual New Zealand citizen. Bridget Rollison reports from Parliament House.
Western Australian Ben Small says he only found out yesterday during pre-election checks by the Liberal Party that he was a citizen of New Zealand. Mr Small, whose father was born in New Zealand, has since renounced his citizenship. Federal politicians are ineligible to stand for election if they have dual citizenship. The rule resulted in the resignation of more than a dozen MPs in 2017. Mr Small joined the Senate in 2020, filling a vacancy left by former Government Minister Matthias Cormann's retirement. He says he'll run again on the Senate ticket for the Liberal Party in next month's election.
Russia has admitted that its cruiser Moskva has sunk a day after Ukraine claimed it hit the ship with missiles fired from the coast. The US has described the sinking as a big blow to Russia's fleet. The BBC's Steve Rosenberg reports.
Moskva, as the flagship of the Russian Black Sea Fleet, is a symbol of Russia's military might. And the fact that this symbol was crippled by fire and explosions and has now sunk on its way back to harbour, that I think is a major blow to the prestige of the Russian armed forces. And it contradicts what President Putin was saying just a couple of days ago when he declared that what he calls his special military operation was going according to plan.
Meanwhile, the United States says it's concerned about the possibility of Russia intercepting weapons transfers from Eastern Europe into Ukraine. The US military sending ammunition, weapons and other equipment to the embattled nation to support its war effort against Russia. So far, Washington's committed more than $6 billion of assistance to Kyiv. US National Security Advisor Jake Sullivan is warning any efforts by Russia to disrupt weapons transfers to Ukraine from NATO allies could escalate the war.
What I will say is this: the United States is not operating inside the territory of Ukraine. So if the Russians obviously were to strike NATO territory where the material is being assembled, it would be a complete game changer.
There are signs of growing tensions in Shanghai as China's biggest city enters its third week of COVID lockdown. Videos emerged of a confrontation between police and people being forced to leave their homes so they could be turned into temporary quarantine facilities. Some of those protesting were detained by officers wearing full protective suits. The Israeli army says it's been conducting counter-terrorism operations in the West Bank after recent attacks in Israel in which 14 people were killed. The increased police presence coincides with multiple religious celebrations of Easter, Passover and Ramadan taking place across occupied East Jerusalem this weekend. The US says it supports measures to de-escalate tensions in the region. A shipment of rapid antigen tests are on the way to Tonga from New South Wales to help combat rising COVID-19 cases. The New South Wales government's donated 100 rapid antigen tests in response to a call for help from the Tongan government. New South Wales Treasurer Matt Keane says the aid will help take pressure off the island nation as they rebuild after the devastating volcanic eruption in January.
New South Wales has a proud history of standing by all people when adversity strikes. And this is another example of us doing exactly that.
Police are concerned for the welfare of a 75-year-old woman who's been missing for more than 2 days in Perth's western suburbs. James Leveris reports.
Jeannie Christine Darcy was last seen at 11 p.m. on Wednesday night in Cottesloe. Police say the Meadow Springs woman was staying at the Ocean Beach Hotel and went out for a walk but didn't return. Police drones, SES and water search teams have been deployed as the search continues into its second day. Senior Sergeant Paul Robinson says there is no evidence of criminality, but because Miss Darcy hasn't been found, nothing can be ruled out.
But I would like to stress that at the moment, no criminality has been identified. We have welfare concerns for Jeannie and we're exhausting all our resources in trying to locate her.
Miss Darcy's daughter Marie says it's very unusual for her mother not to be in touch and has urged anyone who's seen her to come forward.
A 23-year-old woman has died 4 days after suffering critical injuries in a house fire in Adelaide's inner north. Emergency services were called to the house on Northcote Street at Kilburn on Sunday. Other people were safely evacuated, but the woman suffered critical injuries and was taken to Royal Adelaide Hospital. She died in the hospital on Thursday. The cause of the fire is being investigated, and South Australian police are asking anyone with any information to come forward and contact them. ABC News. You can get more news from our website at abc.net.au/news.
I can feel the excitement building all week. In between work, family, all the other things that keep me busy. It's always in the back of my mind. And before you know it, the ABC has the footy on the radio again.
Doherty on his comeback from cancer. They come from everywhere. Buddy Franklin, a legend, joins the Immortals.
Light up your week with the best call in the game.
Grandstand AFL.
AFL.
On ABC Radio and on ABC Sport Digital. The 2022 AFL Premiership season. Grandstand AFL.
On ABC Radio and ABC Sport Digital.
Here comes the Mills. He dumps it towards full forward. Big fight from Reed. Spoil came at the back though. Spills to ground. Bell threw the boot at it. It bounces. Oh, that's remarkable. Bell with a socket goal. From about 35 metres out in line with the right hand behind post. He just threw a boot and saw it tumble through. Good by Ronk, who gathers around and sends it to full forward. Heaney. Oh, Heaney up and marking. That's a great grab. We know he's a Mark of the Year winner, but absolutely flew and gave his opponent no chance. He'll go back and have a shot from right in front. Heaney from point-blank range kicks the Swans 7.
Ronk can't mark this time, but lands like a cat. Gives it off. Warner, flying shot from 45, and he's kicked the goal. Another West Aussie coming home and doing good.
Josh Kennedy puts it long and high towards full forward. Ryan flew, couldn't mark. Umpire spots a free kick. It's going the way of the Eagles. Liam Ryan, the player who has been held. Can he go back and kick West Coast's, well, first of anything, behind or major? Liam Ryan, he should kick this. He must kick this. He does. Going tackle. Spills out in the direction of McDonald again. Goes to Laddams. Oh, goes off the outside of the left boot. That's remarkable from 40 out. To Williams, he kicks long towards full forward. Darling at the back, couldn't mark. It's there for Kennedy. Spins, threw it on the left, and the tightest with angles. He kicks the Eagles second.
This is the 2022 AFL Premiership season.
On ABC Radio and ABC Sport Digital.
Earlier on Good Friday, the Western Bulldogs had a 68-point win over North Melbourne. 21-13, 139 to the Kangaroos, 11-5, 71. We thought that was lopsided. And then this game started. It's half-time and the Swans over the Eagles in the West, mind you. 10-10, 70 Sydney, 2 straight 12 West Coast. I love a Sir Swamp Thing stat. I know that he's a listener as well. And on Twitter, he lets us know this. In the AFL era, North Melbourne got the 64 points in 2017 before Adelaide got on the board. Wasn't that far away from breaking that tonight. Sydney had 56 points on the board before West Coast finally scored a goal, or a score of any description. It took them 47 minutes and 1 second for West Coast to open their account. The longest it has taken any team since 1999 to do so. They have been belted in every respect. Some other scores for you around the place in the National Rugby League games today. South Sydney beat the Bulldogs 36-16, and half-time at the foot of the mountains. Penrith 12 up against Brisbane 6. In the NBL, the New Zealand Breakers late in the fourth quarter lead the Jack Jumpers 80 points to 78. It is worth repeating as well, if you haven't heard the news, that England are looking for a new captain. Joe Root standing down as the captain of the English men's cricket team. It's been a bit like a cricket score here as well. Second innings about to get underway. How will the Eagles go? Ben Cameron, what have you got for us?
Well, Warner did whack one for 6.
That's true. No, good stuff.
Thank you. Okay, some of the numbers. 206 to 156, the overall disposals. The inside 50s, 39 to 10. The tackles, 32 to 26, the way of the Eagles. The contested possessions, 82 to 55. So that's a shellacking the way of Sydney. Leading ball winners, Naish with 17, Witherden with 14, McInerney 16, Rowbottom 14, Mills 14.
The A-League as well. MacArthur 1, lead Brisbane 0. 63 minutes gone in that game as well. And the Jack Jumpers have hit the front too, 84-81 late in the final term of the National Basketball League. Again, we'd like to hear from you. Send us a text wherever you happen to be around the nation. You're as staggered as we are, 0437 774 774. We'll read out your text messages as we can throughout the evening. It's amazing what's been happening. Oh, goodness me. Brian from Tenterden is very funny. Can you stop yelling and screaming like it's New Year's Eve? We know what's going on the field, so why do we have to sit through the replay of the goal being scored and remedies for team out on the ground? Perhaps for my sanity and blood pressure, could they go and get a coaching job? Brian, I'm wondering what you expect us to do commentary-wise. I'm happy to have your advice, but generally that's what we do. We talk about what's happening out on the field. And I do get excited when goals are kicked, both for Sydney and for West Coast. But anyway, Brian, thanks for letting us know. G'day, fellas. I don't want to be alarmist, but the Eagles are in a terrible position. They have ageing guns that on paper are a good side, but just can't deliver. Do they trade them at the end of the year and have a mini rebuild? It is a good question, Al, on the text line. Discuss that a little bit more as the game goes on. Second half about to get underway. It's all Sydney. They lead by 58.
Bailey Williams and Laddams contest it. Laddams flicks it down. Now he goes after it. Parker gets involved. Mills too. Yeo eventually extracts it to Shuey. Under pressure as he kicks on the left. It lands in the lap of Blakey. Takes the defensive mark for the Swans. 45 out from the defensive goal. He kicks to the wing. Logan McDonald. He beats Duggan to it. Marks on the logo. So one of the West Aussies for the Swans tries to find Heaney in front with it and stands bravely and marks.
He didn't quite kick it to Heaney's advantage. Had to be a little bit wider. Option was there.
So Witherden at left half back for the Eagles. He kicks it long, forward of the wing, going up Bailey Williams. Spoilt there by McCartan. That was Tom. Now at ground level, Cunningham. Handball to Lloyd. Handball to Laddam. Swans to half-back, Rampy. Wants to send it towards the outer side wing, and he finds McLean.
McLean marks just forward of the logo. Oh, horrible kick, but it worked out okay. Went to Lloyd, spun out of the attempted tackle of Yeo, went back to Florent, hand pass back to Cunningham, who's wrapped up in a great tackle by Ryan. Something to get excited about for the Eagles fans early in this third term.
Yeah, it's a good hunt by Ryan.
Ryan decides not to go down the line. Instead retreats to Edwards, who marks, and his kick is horrific. Under no pressure, Forts Witherden to backtrack. He's under pressure again from Heaney in the left back pocket. The kick needed to be precise. He's done well to find Duggan between fullback and centre half back. Moves it out towards Hearn. He marks in the right back pocket for West Coast.
If you're going to shift it, you've got to have a second kick there. Go on to the next one.
We've just got nothing to go to.
Witherden had nothing then.
And again, this red and white wall sets up in front of West Coast as they move it short to Duggan. Duggan still in the right back pocket. Kicks long beyond defensive 50. Barras was there, couldn't mark. Brought it to ground though against McLean. Hand pass from Langdon back to Barras. Kick towards right half forward. It bounces here towards Darling. He spins, tries to go short. Couldn't find Kennedy. Great mark. Tom McCartan diving in front. Gets a pat on the head from his brother going by. McCartan has it for the Swans. They stand tall the first time of asking in this quarter. Still, they lead by 58 points.
Hands went to heads elsewhere. Adam Simpson in the coaching box for the Eagles.
He had all the time in the world, didn't he, darling?
Blakey at right half back for the Swans. Chips it really short. Not a mark. Play on to Florent. Tackled by Naish. Holding the ball surely. The umpire says a dumping tackle. Free kick going to Florent. And, well, just nothing's going right for the Eagles tonight. Do you think that was holding the ball, gents?
He was 100% holding the ball.
Yeah, definitely.
But they've got to protect the person getting tackled too.
Shuey and McInerney's gone on for some time, and then Shuey's gone straight to Blakey and throwing him onto the ground.
It's a free kick to Sydney too.
They continue to fight. Eventually, a long kick to the wing. Williams drops the mark. There's a free kick. It's going to Sydney. Blakey and Shuey still wrestle. And a free kick for Laddams on the southern side of the ground.
Dropped another one, Williams, didn't he?
Laddams thumps it long with his left leg. Reed goes up, doesn't bring it down. Roved by Barras. Handball to Nelson, a little slow, just gets it back to Langdon. And then Barras kicks a high ball to the wing.
Good fly. Mark taken here by Laddams. Eagles fans won't like it, but he had enough purchase on it. It's on the logo on the southern side. Moves it short to Lloyd. Decides to backtrack. Goes with a kick to Cunningham, who marks. He's short of the logo, southern wing. The inboard kick is to Mills. Still between left half back and centre wing. Mills runs into the middle of the ground. The kick goes looking for Blakey. Got under pressure from Rioli. Spills down to Naish. The Eagles have it through Langdon. Now to Yeo. Stepped around an opponent. Will have to get rid of it quickly. Does so. Goes looking in the Ryan direction. The kick bounced at left half forward. Met by Ryan. He gathers on his chest. Steps away from one opponent. Kicks around the body. No mark taken. Cripps couldn't quite get there. Spills to ground. It's going to be locked in here. Good tackling coming from Kennedy. Swan underneath it was Blakey. Climb up off the deck and give the ball back to the umpire. Ball up inside the forward 50 for West Coast, who kicked two behinds to the Swans, 10-10. Sorry, 2 goals to 10-10. 4 and a bit gone in the third.
Coming through, Lloyd jams it on the boot, kicks beyond defensive 50. Nice mark, Foley. Going back, takes the mark at left half forward for the Eagles. Looks inside 50 now, just sets it up with a high ball to full forward. Who's down there for the Eagles? Nobody able to mark. Blakey Rose has time, chips it short. Can't find Reed, gathers on the bounce. Now sweeps a handball away to Ronk. Handball to Mills, the Swans off half-back. He kicks out towards the wing. Bouncing ball, gathered there by Logan McDonald. It goes back to Florent. A retreat with a kick back to Ronk. Just the defensive side of the wing on the southern side of the ground for the Swans. They lead by 58 points. 6 minutes into the third.
Ronk towards left half forward. McLean juggled the mark. He's been paid the free. Taken a little bit high according to the officials. Gives it by hand to Florent. Then to Mills. Stabs it inside forward 50. Barras got a fist to the footy against McDonald. Spilled down to Redden. Then to Duggan. Eagles away through Kelly. Oh, drop here at Nelson. Had time, fortunately, to pick it up again. And he stabs it short to Kellick. About a metre in from the boundary on the southern wing. Goes looking for Ryan. Is Ryan infringed?
You'd hate to
gone
play
over the
on
boundary
Rampy.
line.
You'd hate
Yes,
to play
it
on
was.
Rampy, wouldn't you?
Make you earn everything.
It's been such a good player, undersized for such a long period of time, hasn't he?
Yep, elite defender.
Ryan has been paid the mark out of that. Oh, shocking kick. Just runs along the ground. Forrest couldn't believe his luck. Was standing there at left half back for the Swans. Just picked it up off the deck. Kicks down the commentary wing. Backing back strong Mark McDonald.
Just a bit more patient here in their build-up.
He knew Rotherham was right behind him. Was able to hold his ground and take the mark to McInerney, who stretches with the right arm. Short pass, not a good one. Set a real task for Parker. McInerney went back to win it. Got a hand pass forward to Rowbottom. Kicks the Swans in the direction of Heaney. Couldn't quite mark it. Knocked down by Witherden. Good defence from the Eagles that time. And he'll go in the direction of Rioli, who marks on centre wing.
Rioli might be out. He chips it over the top. Cripps in game 200. Looks for his Northampton mate and finds him. Kennedy marks in the left forward pocket. 25 metres out, a 45-degree angle to the left-hand side.
I think John Longmire will be very happy with Sydney's offence in the first half of this third quarter. Just struggling to connect.
Stagnant.
Yeah, and struggling to connect. There could be better defence by West Coast. Certainly up for the fight.
Yeah, I feel like they're making them earn their possessions a lot more, West Coast.
Kennedy's already got one, including the Eagles last. He goes the banana. He bends it a little too much. He misses. 2-1-13 West Coast. 10-10-70 the Swans. 8 minutes played, third term grandstand AFL. Clint Wilden, Ben Cameron, Shamo Woden and Sharad Wellingham.
Brad and Chase listening in. Go the Swans, they say. Hi, guys. Thanks for the call. Listening with my beautiful wife from the treetops in Queensland as a turnover from Lloyd went up the middle and finds Redden, who marks for the Eagles.
Just untidy at the moment.
It's almost
West
like
Coast.
they've swapped jumpers at half-time.
West Coast have got a quarter and a half to make themselves look respectable at the end of this game, which is what they've got to get out of it.
Win this quarter to start.
For that to happen, Redden needs to convert from here. He's right in front. He'll kick from 48 metres out. It's on its way. Has it got enough on it? It has. Despite the best efforts on the goal line of the Swans, they can't get a fingertip on it, and it sails through for the Eagles' third. 3-1-19 West Coast. Sydney 10-10-70. We've gone now nearly 9 minutes into the third term. The Swans lead cut down to 51 points.
Just watching that on the replay, it almost looked as if Jack Redden was out of vision from behind the umpire as Lloyd took off to take the kick.
Pop-up spring.
Redden just popped out from behind the umpire.
The heart would sink, wouldn't it?
Oh,
where did
as soon
he
as it
come
goes
from?
down to your boot, you go, oh.
Well, that's a clever bit of play there from Jack Redden.
Oh, yeah, no, it wasn't by design. It was
right.
purely he changed his running pattern, and as Lloyd was looking, just happened to be behind the umpire.
5 inside 50s to 1 the way of West Coast in this second half. Laddams with the tap. Mills can't pick it up.
It's a throw.
Looking it out, Rioli. Might have been a throw as called by Shamo Woden. Handball forward from Warner. Gathered there by Hayward at half forward for the Swans. Into the pocket. Looking for Parker, and he's got him. 5 metres in from the boundary line in the right forward pocket. 30 metres out.
Oh, he's gone back again. I think he started it in the first centre bounce. There you go. He's gone back onto Parker. To steady the ship a bit here for Sydney.
He's going with the drop punt from 35 out. He struck it well.
Flushed it.
He's absolutely flushed it. And the Swans do respond. 11-10-76. They lead West Coast 3-1-19. Back out by 57 points. 10.5 minutes into the third on Grandstand AFL.
Beautiful finish. Tucked up right against the boundary line there. Love it when you see a drop punt as being elected kick of choice. Beautiful finish. He is a really, really damaging forward. Has been throughout his whole career. Takes a great contested mark for his size. What would he be, 180 centimetres?
I think he's a little bigger than he looks.
Yeah. If he plays in Victoria,
He's 183.
Yeah, that's a little
6
bit
foot.
bigger than 180. That's 3 centimetres bigger.
What are you, 179? Oh, just under 180?
Definitely not 179, but I try and claim as close to it as possible.
It's pedantic but correct. You can't argue against Benny. It is a little bit bigger. The restart in the middle. Laddams wins it down. Heaney had it again to Mills. Got it back to Florent. Threw it on the boot. Kick towards right half forward. McDonald brought it down beautifully to Bell, who breaks the tackle of Hearn. He runs the 50 out and misses. The kick didn't deviate off the boot. It went flying through for a behind. Straight as a die, but just didn't have the hips facing the goal.
Love to hear him take a bounce then and really take it on and knock it over. He just wasn't
It's a bit
balanced.
of confidence. When you got to have a little bit of confidence to do that, I think.
11-11-77 the Swans. 3-1-19 the Eagles. Clarko, not that Clarko, says Eagles lucky. The Swans should be 16-4 at the moment.
Witherden goes long towards the southern wing. No mark. Ryan stays down. He's run down by Goulden.
High tackle, yep.
High tackle, free kick going to Ryan. Ryan goes short inboard to Duggan. Sweeps a handball to Yo. Yo will try and pinpoint Cripps in his milestone match. Takes the mark, feints to handball, and skips back towards the middle of the ground. Now thumps it as long as he can. Kennedy's in not bad position, but he's got McCartan ×2 to contend with. And it's Paddy who marks it. Tommy blocks, Paddy marks, and he goes short to Florent. He's run himself into a cul-de-sac. Has to go back by hand to McCartan. Kick smothered by Jones. Comes out to Mills, has time, and chips it short to Hayward. Able to complete it at right half back. Didn't have it for long.
Had a lot of that.
58 points, the Swans' advantage midway through this third.
So Hayward turns and decides to go back.
Much better defensively set up here, West Coast. Look like they're owning a lot more space and they're a bit more evenly spaced out across the field.
Rampy from right full back kicks to Tom McCartan left full back. He turns it over. Kicking towards Liam Ryan, who marks a 45-degree angle to the right. He can put boot to ball from about 47 metres out.
Pressing forward, owning the front half.
Yeah.
Trying to keep it there.
And that defensive structure that I mentioned looked a lot more like what Sydney was doing really well in the first half. Just owning a lot of space, which is why they're going. Their tease distance is perfect, and which is why they were just electing to kick sideways, not take territory.
Ryan read the kick, popped up, stole the mark. Can he convert? The Eagles fans tell the story. He's got his second. And West Coast, whose aim, as we heard from Shane and Sharrod, was surely to win the quarter. They're doing that at the moment. 4-1-25. They trail Sydney 11-11-77. Back to a 52-point margin in favour of Sydney, though, on Grandstand AFL. Clint Wilden alongside Ben Cameron, our experts Sharrod Wellingham and Shane Woden.
Yeah, don't give up uncontested marks in your forward 50. Close the space. Shut the exits down.
Because Jack Darling nearly did it on the initial kickback. He nearly closed that one down and was able to intercept that. Again,
probably
shifted the defensive structure, and then Liam Ryan's able to pop up and make the intercept.
So their past two goals have come from turnovers from the Sydney Swans West Coast, and they've been able to convert.
Laddams wins the tap over Dixon, but the Eagles come away with it. Redden away to Kelly. Jams it on the right boot, goes inside 50. Spoil comes from Paddy McCartan, comes down to Langdon on the left boot. A high up and under, into the pocket it goes. McInerney, courageous, brave, he swirls it away. Out of play, will get a throw in right forward pocket for the Eagles. 52 points is the Swans' advantage, but the Eagles with 2-1 in this third term.
He's come from the wing there, McInerney.
To contest that.
Yeah, fantastic.
Thrown back in. Both rucks had a tap. Williams tried to follow it up. Heaney got in the way. Strongly tackled by Shuey, holding the ball. He jarred free in the power of the Shuey tackle. He had his chance. He turned, tried to take him on, and then saw the ball knocked away. Shuey decides to go back. Finds Naish.
Modern game. Win centre bounce.
Territory.
Stoppage, keeping your front half. Pressure up. Good tackle by the skipper.
Skipper decided he wouldn't have the shot. Heads to Patrick Naish instead. Such a great story. Late signing from the West Coast Eagles. Naish, his kick is across the face. A minor score. He boots the ball about 47 metres out to the right of centre. 4-2-26 the Eagles, 11-11-77 the Swans. 16 gone in the third on Grandstand AFL and ABC Radio, News Radio and ABC Sport Digital.
So Blakey takes a couple of bounces as he slithers to the pocket and then kicks towards the wing. And Barras in from the side. Strong mark. Powerful. Now kicks towards half forward. Mark taken by Langdon. The Eagles going forward again. He gets back quickly off the mark. Now drives it long, looking for Darling. Lots of Swans there, spoilt down. Rampy at the fall of the ball. Handball away to Blakey. Run down. Cripps got him. The milestone man doing what he does best. Applying defensive pressure. And Blakey couldn't get free.
Up for the fight, West Coast. It's good to see.
Great to see.
Yep.
A lot more pressure being applied.
So whatever I said at half-time, because they were a deflated bunch at the break, weren't they?
Yeah, they've come out pretty positive.
Yeah, they didn't want to be there.
Game 200. Premiership player, he comes in and misses left.
Wasn't his usual kicking technique there. He usually kicks the ball quite high, whereas he kept that one really low. It was like a little punch.
50 points, the advantage to the Swans.
Lloyd takes a bit of a run with the kick in, heads towards right half back to Parker, who marks, plays on quickly by hand. This is Haywood, stabs the pass down the line to McDonald. On centre wing, he'll kick to right half forward. Nicely worked by Sydney. They've, in a flash, gone to right half forward where Ronca's marks. He'll send it inside the attacking 50 for Sydney. They fly from everywhere. Spills down off hands, met first by Langdon. The Eagles there for it. Found Duggan beyond defensive 50 with a kick. Calmly marked by Rotham. Rotham boots on the boundary line. Nowhere really in front of him. Kicks back inside his defensive 50. Foley marks. Now a chance to stretch to the outer side. Marked there by Hearn. Has to turn away from Bell. Pop the hand pass over the top. Awkward bounce for Kelly. Looks to go back by hand to Hearn again. Ugly kick by the Eagles' former skipper. Still able to find Foley, and he hits Naish on the chest. Sweeps a hand pass forward. It's with Langdon now. Langdon can't get away from his opponent. Gordon runs him down. Great tackle. The Swans, they just wouldn't give up. And they win the free kick. They've got it at left half back. They trail by 50 points on the scoreboard. Great tackle from Goulden.
The intensity's gone up in the game.
There's usually a beautiful kick as well. Goes short on this occasion to Mills. Just backward of the wing for the Swans. Floats one forward of it. Mark taken by Parker. Now comes infield. Haywood marks.
It's just that build up between the arcs and things.
70 from home. He drives it long to full forward. McLean embarrassed. McLean hands to it, doesn't mark. So he knocks it on into the path of Ronk. McInerney pulls back his kick, smothered by Rotham. Out of play, a throw in, right forward pocket for the Swans. 50 points is their advantage. 20 minutes into this third term on Grandstand AFL.
Was McInerney one of their academy pickups?
I reckon he is.
In the meantime, it's one down by the Swans and trying to work it forward. Warner got tackled. Ball spilled free. It's been held in here to Duggan. Ronk tackling him.
Campbell, Heaney, Mills, Goulden.
It's been a really, really talented group that they've been able to get through.
Yeah. He was just a third-round selection, pick 44.
Okay.
That was one down here by the Swans. Parker tried to work it out. They're bustling their way forward. It's almost rugby style at the moment. It's been held in again. Good tackle, Langdon. He's able to wrap up his opponents. Haywood, who's underneath that. Reid versus Williams once more. Reid did well, but tapped it straight down the throat of Redden. He couldn't clear it. Going in row bottom. Picked it up beautifully. Used the side of the body to protect himself, but as soon as he gathered the footy off the deck, was tackled himself. Another ball up inside Sydney's forward 50. Williams and Reid once more. They lock arms. Reid had two goes at it. Bounced off his shoulder. McInerney tried to pick it up. Couldn't do so. Spills back to him. Held to him by Jones. Umpire circles. Ball up again. Let's see if Ben can do something with this bit of play. 50 points is the margin. Swans in front. 21 gone in the third.
Umpire puts it aloft. Reid and also Williams. No decisive tap. McInerney coming through. And they're in his back.
Players are so good now at milking it on top of bringing that player who's applying that pressure from behind on top of them. It was there, but it's helped so much more now by the player with the ball.
So McInerney, the mark set 47 metres out, 30-degree angle to the right-hand side.
Watch Blakey here.
The Lizard's just lurking around the back. He wants it.
Lucky Jones turned his head, otherwise that was a little handball receive.
Head on a swivel for Jermaine Jones. He was alert to it. Here comes McInerney. From the digits, he starts it out right, doesn't bring it back. Minor score. His GPS has come loose out the back of his jumper as well. Good excuse. And take it easy from here.
Mark McRae used to do that every game.
51 points, Sydney's advantage.
Did he really?
Oh, he hated it.
I'll just dispose of this.
A really good story I heard the other day was Ryan Davis, who was trying to get picked up by the Gold Coast, needed to get a 2K time trial under a certain time and wore it on a bike to get it done at the exact right time.
I can believe that from Ryan as well. Very, very funny and inventive man. Kick across half back by the Eagles. Now look to go beyond defensive 50. Oh, goodness me, Shannon Hearn dropped the mark. Normally he would always take that, the former captain. The opposite 25 wrong. Picks it up, sends it inside forward 50. Eagles can mop up through Duggan. Able to try and work it away. Mills dives on top of the footy. Wrapped up again by Jones. Ball up the call. Right half forward for Sydney. Tremendous bit of inventive work from Ryan Davis before.
I don't see Shannon Hearn drop too many marks like that, do you?
No.
Very rare.
Reid won it down, then tapped it in the direction of Heaney to Warner. Hand pass over the shoulder, stolen by Duggan. He read it well for the Eagles. Came to Shuey, rode the tackle, hand pass forward. This is Jones, just gets away from two Swans. Kicks towards left half forward, can't find Dixon. Rampy's back there. Oh, then he loses his footing. He goes to ground, ball just tumbles away. It's going to be, what's the umpire said here? A free kick, holding the ball. Dixon gets it.
That's not holding the ball.
Not holding the ball, he just dropped it when he fell over.
Just incorrect disposal. Wasn't holding the ball, you're
deliberate.
Right. Well, I would say
it wasn't a deliberate call.
No, it wasn't deliberate. It was definitely incorrect disposal, the way he dropped it just as he went to ground. Old school shout from myself, apologies. Holding the ball. No, incorrect disposal. Throwing in the left forward pocket. Sydney into attack, and they lead by 51. Clearing kick away came from the Eagles here. Jones tries to go bursting through.
Trying something. He was trying something.
Not getting through that one.
He was looking to take them all on. Instead ran straight into Rampy. You never get out of Rampy. An attempted Rampy tackle.
Be right,
like
I don't mind that.
Set. Looked more like a third set from an NRL game though, didn't it? He just grabbed it and ran at the wall.
Rampy sends it long towards the wing over the back. Almost Reid landed in his lap. Duggan picks it up, gives it off to Dixon, who slips over, runs straight into a Mills tackle. Umpire lets them play. Trying to pick it up, McLean. Yo goes after it. Cunningham comes through. Spits out through his legs. Kelly feeds a handball towards Foley. Ronk eventually carries it out. And we'll get a throw in.
Swans fans happy. Andrew sends us a text doing food deliveries around Gosnells. Loving the call and go the Bloods.
51 points their advantage, Andrew. Is flicking it down, Bailey Williams. Laddams over the footy. Eventually it comes out. Foley picks it up. Very scrappy here on the wing. Parker clears the congestion with the kick, but it lands in the lap of Edwards. He marks for the Eagles.
Edwards across half back to Rotham. Steps off his line. Hayward pursues him. He's good enough to find Barras, who marks in the left back pocket. He steps off his line too and gets told to play on. Pumping kick with the left. Barras heads in the direction of Yo, who's able to mark.
It's a good kick.
It was.
Split.
Beautiful.
Found its way through 2 Swans to get to Yeo. And that's the siren for three-quarter time. The Eagles can say they've won the quarter, but it means naught in terms of what the overall outcome will be, because Sydney still hold a 51-point advantage at three-quarter time. The Swans 11-12-78. The Eagles 4-3-27. 9 different goal kickers for Sydney. McLean has got 2. McDonald's got 2. And then singles to Warner, to Heaney, to Laddams, Ronk, Parker, McInerney and Bell. While for West Coast, better for them, 2 to Liam Ryan, singles to Redden and to Josh Kennedy. The other game earlier today, the Bulldogs by 68 points over North Melbourne, 21-13, 139 to North, 11-5, 71. And here at Perth Stadium on Good Friday with a quarter to play, it's the Swans by 51 points. Wherever you're listening on ABC Radio, ABC News Radio and on ABC Sport Digital, this is Grandstand AFL.
The election. It's easy to get lost amongst the polls, policies and pledges. If only there was a way you could make more sense of it. Bridget Brennan from ABC News has an election hack, a way to find out how your views compare to the major parties.
Go online to Vote Compass, answer a few quick questions. You may be surprised where you stand on the political spectrum.
Vote Compass, exclusive to the ABC.
Go to abc.net.au/Australia Votes.
The 2022 AFL Premiership season. Grandstand AFL.
On ABC Radio and ABC Sport Digital.
Turnover from Lloyd went up the middle and finds Redden, who marks for the Eagles. He's right in front. He'll kick from 48 metres out. It's on its way. Has it got enough on it? It has. Despite the best efforts on the goal line of the Swans, they can't get a fingertip on it, and it sails through for the Eagles' third.
Gathered there by Hayward at half forward for the Swans. Into the pocket, looking for Parker, and he's got him. 5 metres in from the boundary line in the right forward pocket, 30 metres out. He's going with the drop punt. From 35 out, he struck it well. He's absolutely flushed it. And the Swans do respond.
To Tom McCartan, full-back, who turns it over. Kicking towards Liam Ryan, who marks a 45-degree angle to the right. He can put boots of ball from about 47 metres out. Ryan read the kick, popped up, stole the mark. Can he convert? The Eagles fans tell the story. He's got his second.
This is the 2022 AFL Premiership season.
On ABC Radio and ABC Sport Digital.
Lots of texts coming in. Great that you wanted to be part of the program here on Grandstand AFL. 0437 774 774 to send us a text. Jimmy is on the road driving between Adelaide and Darwin. He says, I love my Eagles, but if I showed up for work with that first half effort, I'd have been sacked on the spot. It was very disappointing. And a Swans member listening in from Cairns says, it's never over until the fat lady sings, but I think she's rehearsing. There's a big win ahead. Certainly looks that way from where we are. A couple of other people sending a text in. Kevin from Myrtleford said it's a bit one-sided. Yes, Kevin, you're absolutely right. It certainly has been. At least the Eagles were able to fight back a little bit in that third term. And Mick says, I was wanting a contest between the Eagles and Swans after the Bulldogs North bumping. Could this end up being even worse? It's a valid question, Mick. Eagles fought back in that quarter. What will they be able to do in this fourth? Let's get the thoughts of our experts, Shane Woden and Sharad Wellingham.
Well, I thought they were much better in the contest. They brought a little bit more heat, kept the footy in their front half. They were able to win a bit of stoppage too, which was important for them, particularly at centre bounce. So,
CB, yeah.
So it actually can stay in their front half. And they just worked better in the contest. They just ramped up the heat, got a bit more intensity in their game. Said there was a completely different side that walked back into the rooms at half-time. So, and that's all you wanted to see. Clint raised that just before then. They won the quarter on the scoreboard. Yeah, they're not going to win the game.
Yep.
But you can
respectability.
You can take little wins for the night. And
I mentioned it during the call, but I thought their defensive intent to get into structure, to get into that defensive setup was really good, which enabled them to have those couple of turnovers.
Yep.
And then they're still not quite switching to the offensive transition that quickly. They're a bit stagnant with their ball movement. That's what I'd like to see. Just try moving the ball with a little bit more fluidity, and try taking it on.
Yeah, I'm not
Have
sure
a bit of fun.
I'm not sure they're on the same page at the moment too, because whether or not to shift it and take the other lanes or go down the line, or maybe they just can't get out into space and just can't cover the ground.
Shutting down the options really well.
Yeah, they're very good defensively.
And Sydney, let your young side like this travelling, you'd love to see them just continue to put the foot on the throat.
Yeah, absolutely.
Make the most of their away trips, because these away trips, like I said pre-game, they can really be a good bonding. Galvanising, good bonding for the team. So it'd be good if they can get away with another strong quarter.
Some of the numbers, the contested possessions, plus 27 the way of Sydney. Clearances, they're plus 9 there, the Swans. Inside 50s, plus 25. Overall disposals, 279 to 233. Leading ball winners, McInerney 20, Mills with 20, Duggan with 20, and Naish the same for the Eagles.
What have we got left in a final term? Can the Eagles hit back with a bit of respectability? Will it all be about the Swans? A couple of other scores for you. 71 minutes gone in the National Rugby League. Penrith 32 lead Brisbane 12. Full time in the National Basketball League, and this game has a lot of import for the Perth Wildcat supporters listening in. The Jack Jumpers 88 have beaten New Zealand 86. So the battle between the Wildcats and the Jack Jumpers for the final spot in the National Basketball League competition. Could the Cats miss the finals for the first time in 36 years? Bit to go on with there. As we're underway in the final term, what's ahead of us between the Eagles and Swans? And West Coast get the clearance. Getting a hand pass out the back was Redden to Yeo. Kicked high up into the air. No mark was taken. Still in the centre square, though. Kelly emerges with it. Kicks inside forward 50. Kennedy marks for the Eagles. On the lead. Grabbed the footy about 45 out from goal. It's slightly better than a 45-degree angle to the left of centre.
That's first-class service by Tim Kelly. He just weighed it all up then when he got that footy. He just didn't panic and throw it in the boot. Nice left foot right up the middle.
That's the sort of delivery that the Eagles were hoping for so much of. And they paid a high price to get him back from Geelong. Josh Kennedy. A little skip, hop and a jump. Kicks towards goal. He kicks the goal for West Coast. He's got his second. And it's goal 695 for Josh Kennedy. And the Eagles with their fifth of the night. 5-3-33. Trail the Swans who are 11-12-78. 45 points the margin. 1 minute and 10 seconds into the final term on Grandstand AFL. Clint Wilden alongside Ben Cameron, our experts, Shane Woden and Sharad Wellingham.
Yeah, just lucky. Ball spilled to him. And had the leading lane right up the middle from Kennedy. Anticipated real early too and jumped his opponent there. He got a metre separation.
Start a petition for storming the ground in
700?
700.
You'd just be up in the box, front and centre anyway, Shaz. Making it a little bit of me time.
I'll be here that night.
Here go the Swans out of the middle. Mills kicks towards Sweeney at half forward. Takes the mark. Bumps it long towards full forward. McLean's back there. Barris does well. Halves the contest. Then gathers at ground level and thumps it long towards the wing. Unable to pick it up is Lloyd. Coming through Cripps. Getting involved, Yeo. Goes back to Cripps. Under pressure, he's taken high. And a free kick. So Cripps to get the free kick. At left half back. He'll go back towards Harry Edwards at fullback and laterally to Witherden. So Witherden chips it over the top and Edwards has run on. The kick doesn't quite find him, has to slap it back. And Witherden now stands up in a gang tackle and carries it out. And we'll get a throw in 55 around from the attacking goal for the Swans.
Just a lack of willingness to work there. Nelson was ahead of the ball and just didn't have the desire to lead at the ball carrier.
Ball's back into play. Front position, Laddams against Dixon. Won it down. Heaney was there. Hand pass over the shoulder. It went to Laddams. Centering kick, more through hope than anything else. Punched away by Hearn. Spills there for Naish. Just got a hand pass out to Duggan. Releases Foley. Runs to centre half back. Kick in the middle of the ground. Backing back. Ryan was courageous. Got a touch on it, but it spilled to Lloyd. Then on to Paddy McCartan. Thumps the Swans inside forward 50. Flying up was Reid. Couldn't mark. Parker stuck a boot out cleverly. Allowed the ball to roll onto Rowbottom. Gave it back to Mills. Mills kicks towards goal. Backing back Barris. He made sure he would take the mark and deny Sydney another major. And then he bobbed up quickly and sent it into the left-back pocket for Hearn, who moves it to Duggan. And he marks right on the boundary line in the left-back pocket. Swans still lead by 45 points over the Eagles. 4 gone in the last.
So Duggan sets it up towards the wing. Nice mark. Harry Cunningham at the back. Comes infield to Parker, who comes further infield. And Lloyd. So Lloyd in the middle of the ground, chips it over the top for a lead. Coming there from Mills. 60 out from the attacking goal for the Swans. They lead by 45. Mills looks into the pocket, trying to get it to Heaney. And he takes the mark. He gets separation from Foley and marks on his chest, 30 out, a 45-degree angle to the right-hand side.
That's the
smart
connection.
kick and a really great bit of play from Heaney.
Heaney wasn't even looking at him. Just little lollipop kick into the space. Just do your work. Do your forward craft.
Vantage side.
Yeah.
Off you go.
Class. Been very good, Mills, tonight.
Heaney's already got one tonight. Will they boot the ball from 40 out? Keeps it low and misses to the right-hand side. Shakes his head in displeasure. 46 points, the Swans advantage, 5 minutes into the fourth.
So Hearn has the kicking duties, as he often does, and he finds Witherden, who marks in the right-back pocket. Again, they're trapped here, so Witherden forced to kick to a contest long beyond defensive 50. 2-on-2 battle. It's off hands. Run down by Laddams. Gordon chases it backwards, gathers for the Swans. We'll go right back with the kick towards left half back, where Paddy McCartan marks. Former Saints. Picked up just before the start of this year by Sydney. Sends it back down the commentary wing. Barris, good fly in front. And he's taken enough of it to mark. The best position against Laddams. He's able to drag it down. Good mark to Barris. Again, sends it back from whence it came. To a packet right half forward. Big fist coming from Sydney. Rampy punching it. It spills there to Laddams. Kicks inside forward 50. Tracking it back. Oh, he's got a bit on it here. Foley. There's a little push in the back. It was against Heaney. In fact, I should describe that. That wasn't a little, like a 3 centimetre push in the back. That was a solid push in the back. And the free kick quite rightly paid to Foley.
We'd like to see Laddams then give it to his runners.
Yeah, use the numbers around.
Use the numbers. Allow Heaney to get inside 50.
The Eagles work it to Rotham. Now Duggan loops a handball to Naish on the wing. Comes inboard with his handball to Rioli. Sells some candy. Dribbles it cleverly along the ground to Cripps. Cripps chips it inside 50. Williams marks. 40 metres out, slightly left of centre.
You called it there, Benny. It was a really, really smart dribble kick. He couldn't get it there on the full. And so instead of trying to get it there perfectly, a nice outside of the boot dribble along the ground. It was really, really smart play from Willie Rioli.
Bailey Williams playing his 12th AFL match, only his second without Nick Naitanui. Boot to ball from 49. A good-looking drop punt. He celebrates. West Coast 6th. They're 6-3-39. Sydney 11-13-79. It's back to 40 points and a little more respectability for the West Coast Eagles.
That's right. Hit the nail on the head with the respectability. That's all they need to get out of this second half and try and win this half of footy. Continue to play their brand, definitely. Compete at the contest. And gain a little bit of confidence in their second half and get some small wins along the board.
They have kicked the last 3 goals now.
I can't remember. How many did Sydney kick in the first quarter? Was it 6?
5. They kicked 8 before West Coast kicked 1.
Yeah, Media Street.
Paddy McGinnity, Chris Marston in the crowd. Not drinking the sort of substances they would have been drinking when they were playing. Slightly more frothy these days. As Warner has it, gives it to Goulden from the restart. And Goulden's kick knocked down by Foley. It spills for Shuey. He spots Naish on his own at left half back. It opens up in front of him. Naish kicks him in the middle of the ground. That was disappointing. Goulden read it well.
He has some work to do with that, doesn't he? Decision kicking. He's a good find. It's exactly what West Coast need, another wingman.
Goulden short to Blakey. Going numerically here from 21 to 22. Up the middle. Then they leap a couple of numbers to 26. It's Parker. Comes back again towards Blakey, who strolls towards 50 and kicks an enormous goal. Points to the crowd as well. That was wonderful. What a strike by Nick Blakey. The Swans, they've got their first of the term. 12-13-85 Sydney to 6-3-39. 9 gone in the fourth. That's a thumping kick and a great finish.
A really nice bit of overlap play from Blakey, which he loves seeing from guys in the back line.
Yeah. He's got a good leg on him, doesn't he?
Does.
He celebrated literally the moment this left the boot. There was no delay. He knew he'd flushed it. Watch this on the replay. Straight away. He knew that was going through the middle.
Well, if you're going to kick your first of the season, it's one way to kick it.
Great nickname of the Lizard as well. Good mullet to go with it at the moment. It's about all we can find out of this game at the moment. It's going to be a big win for the Swans. Laddams wins the tap down, following it up Mills. We'll get another ball up.
I think it's just fortunate that he might have rolled him just that little bit enough.
Yeah. Umpire puts it aloft. Laddams down to Mills, to Warner, who snaps out towards the southern wing. High ball. Out there is Ronk, so too Witherden. Neither able to mark. Witherden follows up. Then Ronk goes in. Yo comes through, picking it up Mills. Out to Heaney at half forward. Tries to pull the kick, looking for Bell. He'll gather on the bounce. Run back into traffic. Snap from 40 and shank it. It floats out of bounds on the full. And the Eagles will get it back.
He had time. He could have straightened up, drive his legs, and knocked that over from 35.
Yeah.
46 points.
He did well to create all that space for himself.
Swans advantage.
Barris beyond defensive 50 towards left half back. Williams front position. Got a fingertip to it. Darling's remain down here after being crunched in that pack. He's a little bit worse for wear. We'll keep an eye on him as the ball comes towards centre wing. McInerney eventually was able to pick it up off the ground to Florent. They'll look to build again here, the Swans. It comes from Campbell towards Bell. He dropped the mark in the middle of the deck. Comes down again. Redden, Duggan, Shuey. Duggan through the centre circles. Hand pass to Naish. Set him a real task. Wrapped up by Mills. That'll be holding the ball. Oh, genuine hospital hand pass as Mills happy to take the free kick quickly, and he moves to Goulden on the logo. Commentary wing. Swans get the overlapping run. The kick towards Campbell missed its target. Shuey was there to mop it up. And kicks the Eagles to Yo, who marks it right half back. On the ground in plenty of space is Dixon, and he finds him with the kick. Markey on centre wing, northern side. Sydney lead by 46 points, 12 gone in the fourth. Clint Wilden alongside Ben Cameron in commentary.
Dixon tries to get around Cunningham on the mark. Gives it back by hand to Shuey. A floater to half forward for the Eagles. No mark taken. Roving there is Blakey.
Good hands.
Handball to Warner. Handball to Ronk. The Swans quickly back the other way. Short to Bell. Now Bell's a little unsure where to go. He'll want to go laterally and does so to Goulden. But that beautiful left leg. Doesn't use it on this occasion just yet. Now he does. Stabs it on the 45 to Laddams.
Blakey is searching for land ball receive again.
Laddams goes long towards full forward. Big launch. No mark taken. Barris off hands. Handball to Redden. Handball towards Foley in the pocket, and he clears the danger for the Eagles.
Should come back from whence it came. Parker marks. Read it best. So from left half forward, kicks the Swans back inside the forward 50. Spoil came from Williams, spills down to Heaney, throws it on the left, snaps towards goal, gets the bounce he wants, it's through for another major. Heaney's got 2. Sydney have got 13. Who says 13 is unlucky there? 13-13, 91. 6-3, 39 the Eagles. 13 gone in the final term. The lead for Sydney is back to 52 points. Bridget Lacey is on the boundary.
Yeah, the doctor did run out to Jack Darling after that marking contest you mentioned. He was pretty rattled. He didn't seem too worried. He was sprinting up and down the ground, but he is coming to the bench now, so we'll keep an eye on him.
So just at that stoppage, the marking contest, West Coast players are a little bit stagnant when it's hitting the contest, whereas Heaney, perfect example of that crumbing, just on the move through the contest and a beautiful collect on the way through.
Just clean, isn't he?
Very clean.
Having a good year, Isaac Heaney. Now got 13 goals on the season. Back in the middle, Williams just spikes it forward for the Eagles. Bouncing ball, Lloyd onto it. Handball to McInerney. Runs a little arc, kicks towards the logo. Nice pick up, Rowbottom. Sweeps a looping handball away towards Reid. Now Parker runs a little arc, chips towards half forward. And the mark taken by Hayward. 50.5 metres out from goal. You'd think just beyond him.
Blakey again. Looking for the run past.
Doesn't get it on this occasion. So now Hayward looks inside 50. Wants to switch it. Looking for Goulden. And he marks 49 metres out on almost the opposite side to which Hayward had it. Errol Goulden. That damaging left leg. He trudges in, sends it on goal. It won't quite have the legs. It goes towards the goal square. No mark taken. McDonald slaps it down towards Hayward. Quick snap from the pocket. Bends it through. Class finish from Will Hayward. Right forward pocket, right footer, ball bending the wrong way. And he somehow finds the opening. And the Swans are back out by 58 points, 14-13, 97, plays 6-3, 39, quarter hour mark of the fourth.
Letting a little bit of that hard work that they put in for a quarter and a half. Beautiful finish. That was the tightest of angles from Hayward, wasn't it?
Just ground level uncontested again, wasn't it?
Like they've got 4, West Coast got 4 or 5 numbers all just on the goal line doing nothing. And Sydney have got players moving around the contest.
Just don't cover at ground level.
Great finish from Hayward there.
It's going to be a handy percentage booster for Sydney, this. Yeah, back as Ben said, 58-point lead over the Eagles. One down in the middle by Laddams. Socket off the ground by Florent towards centre half forward. And back there first, Witherden for the Eagles. Hand pass to Shuey. Oh, can't quite break the tackle of Bell. But a hand pass out, stolen by Goulden. It comes to Hayward again. He'll go in the direction of Heaney, who's up and marking. Right in front. He dragged in the football 30 out from goal. He'll go back and look to kick his third. What a player he is, Isaac Heaney.
Incredible he's never been All-Australian, really.
Agreed.
Will be this year, you'd think.
It's probably just getting the consistency through the season, isn't it, and playing a really big year.
Heaney strolls in, he kicks his third, and he puts the Swans out to a game-high lead of 64 points. Sydney 15-13, 103. The Eagles are 6-3, 39 on Grandstand AFL. Bridget Lacey's downstairs.
Jack Darling's just wandered back onto the ground. The doctors had a bit of a look at his teeth. They seem to be the concern, but he looks fine to go. And I'll tell you what, John Longmire couldn't be much more animated given the situation of the game. He's up and down and waving at his players out on the ground and chatting to the guys on the bench. It's just the way he rolls, I guess.
Isaac Heaney debuted 2015. You'd say he was a good player from that very first year.
Oh, yeah.
He had made a huge impact from the get-go, didn't he?
Yeah. He's a good player.
Be a good life, I reckon. Hang around the eastern suburbs of Sydney, get paid well, play for the Swans. Back in the middle. Shuey comes away with it for the Eagles. Handball to Redden. Handball to Nelson. Jams it on his boot. Tumbles it to half forward for the Eagles. Rioli slaps it on. Jones goes after it. Gets a handball away to Dixon. At left half forward for the Eagles. Into the pocket he goes. Bouncing ball. Slapped away by Kennedy by accident. Off the Cunningham and then Rowbottom. Rowbottom kicks back towards the wing. Bell comes up. Knocks it out towards Laddams to Goulden, who snaps around the corner. Very clever. Lands in the lap of McDonald, has a man on out the back, gets it on long to him, and Hayward marks on his chest. Oh, that is just footy smarts, skill, execution from Goulden, and a good kick from McDonald too. Well worked by the Swans.
Love to know how McDonald found himself on that wing with absolutely nobody on him. In an absolute paddock of space.
Well, it's finishing how it started, isn't it?
Yeah.
With the Sydney onslaught. Will Hayward has got one. Comes in, stabs it through. He's got a couple. The Swans have 16. And they lead by 70 points over the West Coast Eagles on Good Friday out west.
There we go.
So his running pattern was forward of the contest and just possibly Yo ball watching.
Ball watching, yep. Just got lost. Kept tracking the footy.
Belting for West Coast. Huge percentage boost, as I said, for Sydney. They're now up to 133.9 from 115.9.
Wow.
Up into third. The Sydney Swans as they win the tap through Laddams in the middle. Trying to burst his way through as Rowbottom got tackled. Spilled out. The Eagles through Shuey. Kicks it inside forward 50. Blakey tried to punch it forward for the Swans. Ball hits the deck again. Comes out the side. Over the head of it was Redden. Umpire spotted a free kick. It's going back to Darling, taken high.
Was it high or a throw?
Throw.
Was it
I
a
thought
throw?
it was West Coast throw, actually. But looks like Paddy McCartan had scooped it up.
Yep.
Just looking for the replay.
I think it was the non-officiating umpire that made the call as well.
Yeah, he scooped it up out the side when it went to Redden from that replay. I did see Darling with his head over the football, which is why I thought the free kick originally was for that. Nevertheless, Jack Darling, his boots will cross the 50. Sends it on its way. Has it got the carry? It has. A goal for West Coast. There's 7-3-45. The stadium now only about half full. Plenty left around half time, I thought. They headed for the exits then and never returned. And they've continued to stride out once more. The lead 64 points to Sydney, 16-13, 109. It is just a matter of the margin. 22 gone in the last. What we've heard from the back of the box pretty much sums up how everyone's feeling. What do you say?
Oh, it's just a bit of junk time now, really, to the end of the game. Damage was done, as we know, in the first half.
Most disappointing thing for West Coast is they had an opportunity to fight back and show something, and they've failed to do it in this term.
Laddams wins it off the deck, gives it to Mills, who steals it from his opponent coming the other way, goes long to full forward. McDonald almost able to take the mark, doesn't quite. Hearn at the back, goes with a worm burner kick out towards Naish. Right there with him, Goulden, who does really well, keeps it in, has some support with Warner. Then Mills, back to Goulden. Floats a ball to full forward for the Swans. Barris is back there, falls to Parker, who jams it on the boot and pops through his second.
A little bit unfortunate there for Tom Barras. Generally gobbles those ones up, but just came out of his hands, and Parker the beneficiary. So great effort from Goulden out here on the forward flank, though, to keep that ball alive after Shannon Hearns tried to exit the defensive 50.
So back out to 70 points. As Clint said, it really is just a matter of the margin. What will it be?
Earlier today, the Bulldogs by 68 points over North Melbourne. Tomorrow, if you're listening through Victoria, South Australia, Tasmania, the lead will get things started for you at midday. If you're in the west, 10 o'clock, join us for Sports Talk. We restart in the middle. Tap one down by Laddams to Robot. That's a clever tap by the Swan. Right in front of Florent, who gathers, kicks inside forward 50, off the hands of McDonald. He tried to bring it down to Parker. Barris was there, getting it away. Kick comes from Edwards for the Eagles, back into the middle of the ground. The Swans have it again. Lloyd went back. Now Cunningham kicks to no one in particular, trying to go back to gather it. The Eagles under real pressure. Foley sent it back by hand. Bell was there, good tackle. Spills out with it, and now gave it to Nelson. Hand pass backwards to Yo. Kicked around the body, sends the Eagles looking for Langdon. Had two Swans to beat. Was able to bring it down to Kelly, though. Hand pass short. Dixon on met solidly. Coming the other way, Tom McCartan. Ball jarred out. It went to Warner, then to Rowbottom, now to Haywood. He'll kick into space, but turns it over. Willie Rioli read it well, got in front of McLean and marks for West Coast.
But he turns it over straight to Goulden, who marks forward of the logo for the Swans, kicks as long as he can, back towards full forward. Big pack forms. Parker might have marked it. Umpire says no. Tries to handball it to Ronk. Ronk has to apply the tackle. And a ball up, 15 out from the Swans attacking goal. Two Eagles down and hurt, Edwards and Barris. That's not what they need. With what's already been a dirty night, Laddams takes it out of the ruck. He's tackled quickly. Eventually gets it on the boot. Barris isn't well. He tries to gather the footy as it comes to him. Gets it off to Edwards, who kicks beyond defensive 50. The Swans are there, and the mark taken by Tom McCartan to Blakey. Rowbottom, a little fumble. Now wants to centre it. And McInerney. He marks on the paint of 50. Called to play on, just wandered off his line, gives it off to Lloyd. Lloyd eventually plays on, a little bit of pressure from behind. His kicks off line, mark taken by Foley. So the Eagles in their left back pocket.
Barris still worse for wear. He's down. He's lost a shoe as well. In the hands of the trainers as the Eagles look to move it beyond defensive 50, and they'll get 50 metres here. But in the hand of Rioli, Haywood infringing. So he'll be brought into the middle of the ground, Rioli. He stands just outside the outer edge of the centre circles. First 50 metre of the night as Rioli gets it on to Kelly. Kelly inside forward 50. Kick had too much on it for Ryan. At the back, they'll mop up the Swans. McInerney through to Rowbottom. Now to Warner. Goes short to Bell. Has been made to earn the mark. Hit by Witherden in the contest. He's a little bit sore and stays down. Courage shown by Bell. James Bell, goal kicker tonight, climbs up off the deck. His 24th game, the 23-year-olds. Trot back. Sherrin in hand. Kicks the footy up into the air. Big pack will form beneath our broadcast position. Spills down. It's there for the Swans again. Parker hand passed over his shoulder. Came to Warner. Tackled immediately. Can he get his arms free? No. Not quickly enough. Holding the ball. The call by the umpire. Naish to receive the free kick for West Coast on centre wing. It's the Swans by 70. 27 gone in the final quarter.
Oh, he tries to switch it. Redden drops the mark, getting back. There to mop up Rotham. Handball to Nelson. Handball to Foley under pressure. Loses it in the tackle. Swans back with it in the middle of the ground. Rowbottom. He's under pressure from Witherden. His handball knocked down. Bailey Williams runs onto it. Jams it on the boot. Floats it inside 50. And the McCartans are there. This time it's Tom. He takes the mark. 30 out from the defensive goal. Moves it towards the wing. And now Goulden stops, props, chips it over the top. And Logan McDonald marks. Bridget Lacey quickly downstairs.
Willie Rioli's just limped to the bench. The doctor's looking at him now.
Looked like he got a whack on that foot as he tried to kick it out of the contest.
McDonald sends it deep inside forward 50. McLean had the hand up. Couldn't bring it down. Spilled out in the direction of Williams. He couldn't take it either. The Swans through Hayward, trying to burst his way through. Spilled out to Goulden. Goulden measures the kick and he finds Warner. That's a lovely kick from Goulden. Warner in space. Found him. He marks. He can go back and kick on goal from 35 out. He'll start in line with the left hand behind post.
Their pressure tonight, all night, Sydney, just not allowing West Coast. Relentless. Any room whatsoever. As soon as they start getting handball chains, West Coast, the heat they bring and the press, they come straight on them.
Warner's looking for his second. He liked it too. Goodness me, he did punch the air in pure delight as Sydney have got their 18th. 18-13, 121. West Coast 7-3-45. It's a lead of 76 points to the Swans, and it comes on a Good Friday crowd of 42,888 at Perth Stadium.
Have you ever seen a West Coast team fumble as much as what they have tonight?
Never, ever, ever.
I reckon they've been really poor fundamentally. Whether that's perceived pressure, dropping marks, dropping balls that's been handballed to you.
42,888 for the West Coast Eagles in attendance tonight.
Happy with that?
How many are left?
I was just looking around going, I reckon there's about 20 left.
Yeah. Kelly out of the middle for the Eagles, dribbles it inside 50. Langdon can't quite pick it up, gives it to Cripps. This would be a nice moment. Game 200, puts it through. At least something to go on with for West Coast. Jamie Cripps celebrates game 200 with a goal. And brings it back to 70 points. The damage for the West Coast Eagles.
A real shame from that point of view for Cripper.
Yeah.
He's been such a club great stalwart for a very long time, and what he's given this front half, it's been exceptional for long periods.
He's been there nearly 10 years, Cripps.
He's been an incredible, and to what he's gone through with his diabetes and stuff, been phenomenal.
And a shout out to Northampton, the small town of just 800, has another 200 gamer in the AFL.
Is he underrated? As a
I think in the competition-wise, he is. Internally, definitely not.
Definitely not. Yeah, I agree. He's a star.
Restart again. Shuey went charging in, tackled strongly and taken high by Laddams. He'll play on by hand, running by Foley. Receives the hand pass, kicks towards full forward. Punch came from Tom McCartan. Spills down though to Ryan. Ryan snaps a lovely goal. He's got 3 tonight for West Coast. From deep in the right forward pocket, gathered, kicked on goal, found the major opening. Sydney's lead cut back to 64 points. 31 minutes gone in the final term. 18-13, 121 to the Eagles 9-3-57.
Did really good work at the contest, which we haven't seen from anyone in the West Coast side today. Just bit of craft at the actual contest. Pushed his opponent into it and got the ball on the outside.
Yep, absolutely.
Nice change of direction.
Very clever forward, isn't he? Far and few tonight for West Coast. 31 scoring shots for Sydney.
Massive.
It's poor defensively too from the group.
Bounce back in the middle. Laddams and Williams. Williams follows up. Now he paddles. He paddles again. Bursts out of the middle. Gives it to Yo, who goes with the check side. And sneaks it through for a minor score. A behind. 63 points, the Swans lead.
It's an enormous win for Sydney. An embarrassing result for West Coast. The Swans crushed the Eagles in their home nest. Sydney by 63 points.
Shake down the thunder from the sky. Whether the odds be great or small, Swans will go in and win overall. While our loyal Swans are marching onwards to victory.
It was all Sydney from the start. They kicked the opening 8 goals of the game before West Coast even got on the scoreboard. They led by 34 points at quarter time, by 58 at the half. West Coast won the third term to see Sydney's lead cut to 51 points. But the Swans, they stormed home to win by 63. It's Sydney's 4th win of the season and a huge percentage boost for Sydney as well.
Cheer, cheer the red and the white, honour the name by day and by night. Lift that noble banner high, shake down the thunder from the sky. Whether the odds be great or small, Swans will go in and win overall. While our loyal Swans are marching onwards to victory.
Sydney go back-to-back. They've won 2 in a row now and 4 of 5 to start the season. And they storm up into 3rd place, for the moment at least, on the AFL ladder. A huge result for them. And their biggest score of the season, 18-13, 121 to the Eagles, 9-4-58. And again, this game, important one for West Coast, with what it means for both of these clubs, of course, with money being raised for Legacy WA, HMAS Sydney 2 game, paying credit to the 600 plus lives that were lost in the sinking of HMAS Sydney back in 1941. It was Sydney victorious tonight. 2 thumping wins in a row by the Swans over the West Coast Eagles. The goal kickers for Sydney, Isaac Heaney with 3, 2 to Warner, 2 to McLean, 2 to McDonald, 2 to Haywood, 2 to Parker. And you can throw in goals too, singles to Laddams, to Blakey, to Ronk, to McInerney and to Bell. 11 different goal kickers for Sydney, while for the West Coast Eagles, Liam Ryan kicked 3, Josh Kennedy 2. The other goal kickers, Redden, Cripps, Darling and Williams. Plenty of chances to hear from you if you're an Eagles fan. How concerned are you with where the club is placed at the moment? When do they decide to start to rebuild, or do you think they should? Let us know, 0437 774 774. And if you're a Swans fan, right now you must think you are a genuine chance in season 2022. There is so much to like about what Sydney have been doing. I know they had the scare last week, but they were impressive. This was a thumping win tonight for them, winning all the stats that mattered. Head downstairs to find out who was the player of the game. Let's join our on-ground MC, Carl Lang.
Sydney 2 trophy. The match was introduced in 2010 in memory of the sacrifice that was made by the HMAS Sydney 2's crew and their families, and is held annually between the Sydney Swans, representing the HMAS Sydney's 2's home port, and of course the West Coast Eagles, representing the state of the HMAS Sydney 2's final operations and resting place. Please welcome Commanding Officer of HMAS Stirling, Captain Gary Lawton, Mr Keith Rowe, Finding Sydney Foundation, and members of the Royal Australian Navy, Petty Officer Ryan Wilson and Lieutenant Lynn Beachy, who joins us here for the presentation here tonight. The HMAS Sydney 2 trophy has been donated to the AFL by the Finding Sydney Foundation in 2010, and the trophy is in the form of the ship's Battle Honours Board, showing HMAS Sydney 2's distinct badge, campaigns and battle honours in polished bronze on a Jarrah-based and black board. Campaign battle honours are highly prized in the military and are always displayed, serving as a constant and proud reminder of past achievements. This trophy is therefore evocative of the fighting spirit and teamwork shown by the HMAS Sydney 2's crew, an invitation for the two clubs to perpetuate these sentiments by demonstrating the same spirit of competition and teamwork each year. And today, the Sydney Swans were far too good for the West Coast Eagles. You only have to take a look at the scoreboard. Now, before welcoming the captain of the winning side, Dane Ramby, to come forward, I'd like to invite Captain Gary Lawton to present the Best On Ground Award for today's match. Now, this trophy is a mounted shell casting that has been fired from a Rapid 76mm fire gun of the current HMAS Sydney. In addition to the perpetual Best on Ground trophy, the Best on Ground player also receives a commemorative silver HMAS Sydney commemorative coin, minted after the ship's discovery by the Perth Mint. As HMAS Sydney 2's short story is one of triumph against the odds, of courage, of ingenuity in adversity, of free and independent spirits who became a team formed by the bonds of mateship and necessity, the trophy will be awarded to the player who showed the greatest courage and skill in adversity, teamwork and fighting spirit. I'd like to say the votes went this way. Shane Woewodin, 1 to Luke Parker, 2 to Peter Laddams, 3 to Callum Mills. Andrew Embley, 1 Luke Parker, 2 to Peter Laddams, 3 to Callum Mills. And Braden Quartermain, 1 vote, Justin McInerney, 2 to Luke Parker. And unanimous, Callum Mills, Best on Ground. Please put your hands together for Callum Mills.
28 disposals tonight, 4 tackles, 17 contested possessions, 14 ground ball gets, 5 marks for Callum Mills.
First to West Coast, thanks so much. It's always a tough competition, and all the best for the rest of the year. To all the red and white that came out tonight, thank you so much. We heard you. Looking forward to next week. Thanks.
Also throwing 526 metres gained for Mills tonight as he pauses to receive the medallion as well. The handshake on the ground. Sydney 18-13, 121 to West Coast 9.
Cal is getting the instructions about the commemorative coin that he's just been handed. There's only about 16 of those that have been given out in the history of this match. So congratulations to Callum Mills. Now, I'd like to call forward Mr. Keith Rowe from the Finding Sydney Foundation to assist with the presentation of the HMAS Sydney Trophy to the captain of the winning team, Dane Rampy.
Dane Rampy makes his way out towards the microphone and then heads across to where the trophy is presented to him. Sydney enormous winners tonight by 63 points. Head across to the microphone.
Just 2 things from me. Just want to thank West Coast. Well done for keeping under some pretty trying circumstances this year. Real credit to your culture at your club for just showing up and competing week on week. So well done, boys. And just on the behalf of this, just want to acknowledge all the men and women, both past and present, serving. Thank you for the contribution you make to our country. Cheers.
That's
Dane Rampy, everybody.
From Dane Rampy. And that concludes the presentations downstairs. West Coast against Sydney. The Eagles completely outplayed tonight by the Sydney Swans, who should be thrilled with their effort. Chance to hear from you, 0437 774 774. We'll get to your texts in just a moment, 0437 774 774. We'll head down into the Swans rooms as well, hopefully take the press conferences from both coaches, John Longmire and Adam Selwood. Bring you whatever we can from post-match. A little bit of a concern too for the West Coast Eagles with Willie Rioli. He looks okay at the moment as he's walking off the ground, but the right ankle is covered in ice, so there must be a bit of a concern, and he didn't finish the game. His name being ruled through on the champion data computer we have here, so that's the last thing West Coast would want. Another injury. It's been just incredible the amount of players who have had to miss games, not just through COVID of course, but through injury as well. There's a bit to unpick here. Sydney 18-13, 121 to the Eagles 9-4, 58. Let's get the thoughts of our experts. One of them who absolutely nailed it in terms of the votes. Shane Woewodin, Callum Mills, well played to you. You've thought of everything else. That's why we give you these tough jobs, Shane. We just hand pass them to the second row.
Yeah.
That
was a
good game.
It was a good game. It was a procession, wasn't it? Yeah, he's very good, Callum Mills.
Yeah.
And more importantly, a four-quarter contributor. Did it from the start when the game was hot, and in particular that first half. But, yeah, like his ground ball, he's clean, how tough he's around the contest.
What are his clearances like?
So 6 clearances, 8 inside 50. He didn't hit the scoreboard tonight, was probably the thing about his game, but I thought what he did and how he really everyone just jumped on his back early in particular, and I thought he was outstanding. And I just thought it's a big game from Laddams.
Yeah.
Ruck, he's a second ruck. It hopefully gives him a little confidence now, and he did hurt himself late, but
he looked really comfortable, didn't he?
Yeah, and he's up against, a young ruckman in Bailey Williams. Nick Nat, we know, is not out there, but you can only play against what's been served to you.
Yep.
But it wasn't just necessarily his stuff, his craft around the contest. He was ability to get the footy on the outside too and spread. And
to himself sometimes.
Hit the scoreboard. He's had 13 contested possessions too, so he's had a big game. And Luke Parker, the veteran, we know how good he's been for a very long time, and I thought he was outstanding again through the game.
I'm sorry to interrupt, Shane. You're doing the serious stuff. I'm just watching the Swans fans, and there's a huge group.
There are a lot of them, aren't there?
Huge numbers that have come here tonight, actually throwing their phones onto the Perth Stadium surface, and Isaac Heaney just been a genuine trooper, going through, picking them up, getting a selfie with whoever's phone it was, throwing it back. Like Dead Set had about 4 or 5 phones just land at his feet, and he was happy enough to pick them up and work his way through and get some selfies for the Swans fans. And well done to the Swans, who almost, as a player, actually have made their way across, because they were standing across half forward at the city end of the ground, and they've gone to where the Swans fans are at the Farmer Freeway end of the ground, and they've run alongside and shown their thanks for their support. And we heard, of course, their captain make mention too of they could hear those in red and white around the ground tonight. But a really nice touch from the Sydney Swans. So, yeah, sorry to jump in, but that was one of the more amusing things I've seen in footy for some time. Continue on.
Procession tonight.
Procession.
Yeah, is that how you say it?
Yes.
Procession,
yeah. Make sure I just put that one out properly.
Back to Callum Mills. I really like the way they've developed him as well. Had him down at half back, learnt how to feel comfortable at AFL level. Obviously, a huge amount of talent and
courage.
Yeah, absolutely. And was at home right away, but they kept him there. And then, tick, you've done your apprenticeship, now go do it in the midfield.
He's done that too, hasn't he?
Yeah, he's moved in there really well. And you mentioned
Parker.
North Melbourne player. Who did you mention this morning on the way in? Who should be playing up forward?
Jeez, now I can't remember.
Number 1 pick.
Horn Francis.
Horn Francis. He said should do a similar thing. I think it shows that, they're in a different position at North Melbourne, obviously, being a developing side. So they can put him in the midfield and he needs to be there kind of at the moment.
It probably does a little bit more so.
But I love the idea of an apprenticeship for these guys, and Callum Mills is probably one of the best.
Well, they build their tank as well and get used to AFL.
That's exactly right, mate.
Yeah. It's not that easy. The guys who run through the midfield are so fit these days, and we see, Petrarca has really exploded.
Off the back of 6 pre-seasons.
6-7 pre-seasons.
Easy. Yeah. Horn Francis, I think he dominated. Was it more as a forward at the Sandford last year and just pinch hitting through midfield? It's a big step from Sandford to AFL footy with speed and bodies and stuff like that. So.
Just quickly on Mills before we leave him. Likes playing against West Coast. Last time they met, 3 Brownlow votes, 10 coaches' votes, and best on ground today.
Yep. Let's head down into the rooms before we hear more from Shane and Sharad. Though they will have to pause for a little bit here because Isaac Heaney is still taking selfies as he makes his way around the ground. He and Logan McDonald will be the last 2 in. Let's go downstairs. Bridget Lacey is waiting in the Swans rooms.
I am. There are pretty happy Swans down here. Interesting that Isaac Heaney was picking the phones up, because I know last week some fans were trying to get Dockers players to touch those phones, and they were told under no circumstances to touch the phones. So
I think all the Sydney players have had COVID.
Exactly. Here we go. Isaac's made it in. They're just calling Josh Kennedy into the...
Scott.
O'Keefe from the Swans down here, guys. I'll get you a player shortly.
Certainly not the most rambunctious of songs that we've heard, though they've known for some time this game was going to be a win. 18-13, 121 the final score for them. Their biggest score of the season, Sydney to West Coast 9-4-58. So in the end, a 63-point win. It did get out margin-wise to as much as 70 throughout the game, as the Swans will head down into a meeting. We'll join them as soon as we can with Bridget Lacey downstairs. To come for Sydney, they've got a trek. Well, they've got a bit of travelling this fortnight. From Perth, it's across to Launceston, to York Park to take on Hawthorn, and then a couple of games in a row at the SCG. Brisbane, Gold Coast and Essendon as they head towards round 9. For the West Coast Eagles, well, they've got Port Adelaide in Adelaide, Richmond in Perth, and then, goodness me, Brisbane at the Gabba, and then the Demons come to town. Yeah, that's tough.
It's a big stretch, isn't it?
So they've got to go on the road again, Sydney.
Yep.
Wow.
And then they have just one of those random things that you get, and then they've got a couple in a row at the SCG. So
all works out roundabouts, doesn't it?
Yeah. There's nothing fair about the draw, as we know.
It's not quite as bad for them generally, I would think. When they fly up and down the East Coast, it's not too bad.
Yeah. It's only an hour to Melbourne.
Yeah.
It's not far. No. The hardest bit's getting to the airport.
Yeah, that takes about 3 hours.
Yeah, through Sydney traffic.
Not too bad for them. It's hard for GWS.
Yeah.
I reckon a bit harder for them.
Yuck.
How legitimate are they? I mean, they were playing I've said from the pre-season that I didn't mean that to be self-congratulatory, but I just mean, I don't think West Coast were going to be much chop this year.
No, I definitely don't think that's. I don't think that's a reflection of where Sydney are. They're going to be around the mark this year. They'll be probably top half of the top 8. You reckon 4 to 6?
Yeah, I reckon they'll be bottom half of it.
Yeah.
They should be fighting for.
Well, if you go through their results so far, GWS is a game you would expect them to win. Geelong, very different style, which doesn't particularly work all that well at the SCG. So that's still a good win, though, 30 points. Then the loss to the Bulldogs at the Docklands. We know the Bulldogs will be around about the mark. I know they've had a tough start, but I still think that they will be around about the mark. A scare against North, and it was a scare.
Huge.
But they got the cliche. They got the job done, as the cliches go. And then came across to Perth, which is still a tough trip, and against the West Coast side, who I thought would be far more competitive they were. And one of the reasons that they weren't was that Sydney were just exceptional tonight.
Yeah.
So I guess if you're going to have a look at Sydney, we'll have a far better idea. Hawthorn, you would think they would win, but Brisbane at the SCG will be a really good yardstick on where they're at.
Yeah. I still think they're so heavy reliant when they score on their small to mediums. Their big boppers don't really impact the scoreboard a hell of a lot, really. And against the really good teams like McLean, Reid, we know McDonald's only young, so he's hit the one. But, Parker, Heaney and their smalls have got to go to work and really contribute, and their mids have got to chime in as well. And their halfbacks are kicking goals too. So, there's Bud when he's up and going, but, he's not going to be kicking 6s and 7s.
Yeah, but it's funny. So I only really noticed it the other day when I was at the ground, how much Bud's presence on the ground allows those other guys to pop up, because
the focus
of the defenders goes so much onto Bud. I noticed it so much I hadn't really been and watched an in-person game, and defenders would just be dropping off, and then Heaney would pop up, and then he still kicked 4 or 5 that night, and so that's why those guys are able to hit the scoreboard so well, because of the distraction that Bud only creates.
Yeah, teams understandably get buddy conscious.
Oh yeah,
they know what you can do.
And I think he only needs to kick 3 or 4. He only needs to kick 3 or 4.
He doesn't need to kick 6. Absolutely, yep.
And if he can do that, Logan McDonald can kick his 2 or 3. I reckon Heaney is good for a minimum 3 a game.
Yeah, he's a very good player, isn't he?
So would you play as the season goes on, if you're Sydney? Would you play, or would you find a space for Reid, Franklin and McDonald in that Sydney forward line?
I think so. Because Reid can back up ruck.
Yep.
And is pretty good at that, and I like him up the ground. And because he's probably the one. You know, he and McDonald are the only ones who are going to take the pack marks in the forward 50.
Yes.
Bud doesn't take pack marks.
No. So does McLean fall out then? Yeah. At least they've got options.
Yeah,
You know,
it's a good problem.
Yeah, when Hickey comes back, what does it do for Laddams as well?
Yeah.
So they've got some arsenal in there to be able to have a crack at.
And that's great when you're in that position because you can play horses for courses.
Absolutely.
You might miss a game because you're going up against a team that, you know, a certain person, you'll be able to capitalise on what they bring, which is...
They'll fear some size. And I love what John Nomai and the match committee have done with their midfield. Like, Kennedy out, Parker less.
Yeah.
Now let's kids and just throw them in there and go to work.
Well, you just see the way they attack everything. They look lightning fast. Not just with the run, but in the way that they
got energy.
Energy in there. You know, they're scrappy and they're fighting every second. It's great, and that's what Kennedy and Parker used to be like. But as you get older, you slow down a little bit. Your intensity wanes.
Nick from Wodonga asked this question on the SMS 0437 774 774. Guys, do you think the Eagles can return to the top 8 when everyone returns and their work rate lifts? I'm not sure West Coast are a top 8 team this year.
No way.
I thought 15, 16.
I remember speaking last year about it, and I thought that it was time for West Coast to start to look to the future. The Eagles decided internally that they were going to have one more roll of the dice, and I understand why you would do that, because you look at that group, they're premiership players, and we know it's really hard for clubs to say farewell to premiership players and greats of the club. I'm wondering when that we'll see that from this point onwards, whether West Coast start to make that decision in the next week or two. But yeah, I couldn't see them being a top 8 club this year, and even with everybody back, I can't.
The thing that makes that even harder is when, the team's not going great, but how many times have those greats been the guys who are still playing well?
Yep.
And that's what makes it even harder when you've still got Kennedy kicking goals, Hearn holding down the back line, Shuey performing well through the midfield.
Let's head downstairs. Really excited to speak to this gentleman. He's from the Perth Football Club, which means I'm extra excited. Logan McDonald is downstairs with Bridget Lacey. Bridge.
Yes, we're lucky enough to have Logan back in his hometown tonight, and he kicked a couple of snags too, which must be nice. Logan, what's the feeling like?
Yeah, it's stoked. We came here with a plan, obviously, and to execute it, we think, to a high level is exciting, and I think we've still got a lot of growth in us. So we're stoked about how we defended tonight. That's the main thing, and we'll move on quickly and focus on Hawthorn next week.
It's a big, long trip, as we know. You know it better than anyone. What was the sort of focus coming in? You started so well, and then obviously they fought back a bit in that third term, and you were able to hit your straps again that last term.
Yeah, I think we always we talked about all week about our start and how we can sort of silence a crowd early and sort of put our implement on the game. So we focus on that and just hitting in our contest. That's always been our one wood for this club and will be for a long time. So we think everything flows off the back of that, and we thought we cracked in very well. I thought Pete Laddams was very good in the ruck and gave us first use, and it was an exciting performance, and good win.
Were you able to spot any of your friends and family in the crowd tonight at all, or is that a bit of a distraction while you're out there?
Yeah, my brother was making a fool of himself, so I saw him and a couple of mates when I was on the run in. But yeah, it's good to get back home and see the family over Easter.
Beautiful. I know the guys upstairs are keen to ask you some questions. Clint Wilden, Ben Cameron, Shane Woden and Sharad Wellingham.
Well, Sharad here. Congratulations on the win, mates. Talk us through the confidence you get from a game like that for yourself, owning the forward 50 as the key forward, especially with Lance out of the side. Give us a bit of an insight to how that makes you feel tonight.
Yeah, I think when the forward line's functioning as well as it did tonight, and everyone's playing selfless and trying to create opportunities for each other, then it's always going to be fun to be a part of and always going to be confidence building. So I was lucky to get on the end of a couple tonight, and it's good. I'll take that and take some learnings out of it, what I did well, and if there's anything I have to improve on heading into next week. But it was an exciting performance, and I think obviously I can say I didn't start the season how I wanted to, and I went back to the VFL and had to go back to my trademark and competing, and I think my game always stems off the back of that.
You mentioned with Bridge then how you were going to capitalise against West Coast. What were the things that you came in focusing on how you were going to beat them?
Yeah, like I said, our contest is always our one wood, so we think if we match and beat every team on the inside, we'll go a long way to winning a lot of games. So that's first and foremost, and our team defence obviously on the bigger deck than what we're used to, so just locking in on that, and we thought we did that very well for most half. I think 5 goals of theirs came from centre bounce and 2 from defensive pass turnovers, so we defended the hot length of the ground really well, and then just going quick off turnover, I thought we moved the footy really well tonight, and it was a good forward line to be a part of.
Yeah. Congratulations, Logan. Shane Woden here, mate. Terrific victory. It's a big trip coming across here and then in the fortress over here, but I thought the group was fantastic. Mate, what have you learnt since being in this system? It's only been a short time, but second pre-season? Yeah. What have been the big learnings for you as a young key forward?
There's a lot. I'm still learning now. Everyone plays you different. Every team defends different, so I think always having Lance as a sounding board is really good, and watching vision with him and doing all things like that and how he assesses. And I think the main thing in the AFL is just adapting. You can't be too stationary or doing the one thing for too long. So you just got to be able to change and read defenders. And it's all a learning process, and just taking it in my stride and trying to play some good footy.
It's pretty exciting times for the club, isn't it? You know, with like Josh Kennedy's a little bit more now out of midfield. Parks is probably just more pinch hit, but the energy and the youth that this young brigade brings inside the contest, but they are bulls in there, but they certainly get to go to work on the outside too, and I thought that's where you're prolific today against West Coast.
Yeah, our midfield's been superb all year, and I think it's a real strength of ours. We've got that many guys that can go through there, and we talk about spinning the wheel and having short bursts in there, and it's exciting. Even the boys in our VFL are performing well, and there's a lot of pressure for spots in there. And like I said, our contest at this club has been the strength for a long time, and we do a lot of work over in the pre-season. And I think you look at the top 4 last year, they were the top 4 teams in contested possession. So that's what we're starting to pride ourselves off, and we think the rest of our game and structure and game plan comes off the back of that.
Logan McDonald from the Sydney Swans is with us on Grandstand AFL. Logan, Clint Wilden here. Terrific to talk to you. You mentioned the pre-season, and it was a pre-season with a bit of a difference for yourself and a number of the West Australian players. Tell us a little bit about that, and how did that all work out for you?
Obviously with the hubs last year, and sort of the club getting stuck in Melbourne last year and Gold Coast, my family and a lot of the WA boys' families and couldn't come over, or we couldn't get there, and we weren't able to see them much, and the club was fortunate enough over sort of the summer, that pre-Christmas period, to let myself and Chad Warner, and then along with Corey and Gus Sheldrick, the 2 draftees, to stay over and train with Claremont and spend a bit more extra time with our family. So that was something we were really grateful for as a club, and I think it come back fresh and ready to attack the pre-season was really good for myself and Chad especially, and I think it's going to set us up in good stead.
How have you found the transition from Perth, which is a much quieter capital than Sydney is? How have you found that?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think we might have just... the mic's back. You're back.
I'm back. Yeah, they're pretty different. I think you come back here, and it's obviously football's the main sport, and I love Sydney. It's a good getaway, and you're a Sydney Swans player in the door, and then as soon as you exit the door, no one knows who you are, and it's awesome. It's a good getaway, and it's a tight, close-knit group, especially with the young boys, with how the housing program works over there. You sort of go there by yourself, and you've only got each other, so you sort of learn to grow up and mature all together, and it's awesome. I love it, and I wouldn't want to be anywhere else.
Logan, it is Easter here in... Well, it's Easter everywhere. I was going to say here in Perth, but how much time do you get to spend back here with the family for Easter?
Yeah, it's good. We have got the Anzac Day game on the Monday next week against Hawthorn, so the club's been fortunate enough to let me stay back till Monday. So I'll spend the weekend here with my family and friends, and it's awesome.
Fantastic to talk to you, Logan. We're really delighted with what you've been able to achieve, and hopefully some more massive games like we saw tonight. Best of luck.
No, thank you.
Logan McDonald downstairs, Cleveland Browns fan as well, so he gets bonus points for that, I have to tell you. There's not many of us about.
No,
absolutely.
For good reason.
Is there a sport you don't
rubbish.
Follow? Hey? Is there a sport you don't follow?
Tennis. Which I get constantly stressed about. Just, I can admire the skill, but I don't passionately love it.
Really?
Yeah, it's just, yeah.
It's fun to play.
Oh, it's great to play. But if you can't leap over the net and tackle your opponent, then what's the point in that? 18, 13, 121 and 9, 4, 58. I expect a flurry of text messages telling me how horrible I am for that one, but that's okay. Getting back to the game tonight, Rod from Hobart asked a really interesting question. He talked about the bigs, the talls, Wowie, but his question is, great win tonight. Are the Swans undersized in defence? I wouldn't have thought so with the two McCartans storming around.
Yeah. How big are the McCartan brothers?
They're monsters.
Big boys. Strong.
193.
Sam Reid can go back and play back.
Rampy plays taller.
3 centimetres taller?
195.
Nah, that's Luke Parker.
No, it's
3 centimetres taller.
I know, I was being silly.
They're big lads.
Yeah.
That's, mid-190s is a pretty decent sized key defender.
Blakey's not, much as he's a running back, but he's not small either. He's quite tall. So
Just not broad-shouldered.
Yeah.
He has shoulders. He's 195 centimetres. He's a big lad as well.
Yeah. They got plenty of height.
They'll be all right for height. The McCartan boys are solid. Obviously, not the case for Blakey, but he's a runner and ball user in that back line. I think they're pretty safe for size.
Text message, I'm not sure who sent it, but talking about dropping the youngsters, it's worse than that. The Eagles selectors are repeat offenders, having done the same thing last year. Well, they did when they rushed a whole group of players back in, which is, I know, and I joked about it at the start of the broadcast, saying for the moment with West Coast, we know the issues they had. Bringing 6 players in is almost a settled team when you consider they've had to make 12 changes the week before that. Mm-hmm. But I still was convinced with the effort that they put on the week before, in any other season, if a team makes 6 changes, we would sit back and go, that really does unsettle a side. That's a huge amount of changes to be made. I think West Coast didn't learn from last year when they did the same thing and they rushed all these. They are massive names. I know why you want them out there, but I do think they rushed them back again.
Yeah, and like I said before in the call, you've got to let them go and get some confidence. It's not just about getting the minutes and coming back because you're physically ready. You get a lot from playing well at the lower level, and so you get a lot of confidence to come in and do the same thing.
And if it's been isolation or they've had COVID, it takes you weeks to get back.
Yeah,
doing anything. So, or doing anything, but to get back to full fitness again and game fitness at AFL level, I thought it was a big mistake. And I understand reputation, understand names, experience, what they've done in the past. I get that, but it hurts you because they just cannot cover the ground yet. And they might be able to do it in 4 or 5 weeks. Yeah, fair enough. But another 1 or 2 weeks maybe in the waffle just to get some time and get their GPS going. And as Sharad said, the confidence to be able to get across the ground, and then bring him in.
And hit contests.
Yeah.
Like, you can train and you do some tackling and you'll get a little bit of body contact at training, but it's nothing like a game.
No, not for 120 minutes.
Yeah.
West Coast tonight, well beaten by Sydney, who are outstanding. The Swans by 63, 18-13, 121 to 9-4-58. We'll return to your normal programs on Good Friday night in about 15 minutes' time. Great to have Helen on board, who's loving the coverage. Thanks, Helen, for sending us a text, 0437 774 774. If you'd like to get in touch with us, I would have to stand. John from Coburg has said, I should ignore these texts, but I can't help myself. This is meant to be a Good Friday event, not an Anzac Day one. It's a bit offensive. John, that is absolutely untrue. These two sides have played for the HMAS Sydney 2 game for 15, 16 times now. The fact that it's on Good Friday is neither here nor there. It's not about Anzac Day either. It's about raising money for Legacy WA, Legacy, which is a tremendous cause. And we know that the game across in Melbourne raises money too. So I couldn't disagree with you more, John. Thank you for texting in, but you're completely wrong. Let's head downstairs. Bridget Lacey, good to have you with us. You've got a special guest. Bridge.
I do. Luke Shuey's been good enough to join us. Luke, not the result you wanted tonight. What do you take out of it, I guess?
No, not a lot of positives. Unfortunately, I've had a few of them over the last 18 months, but up until now, there's been some real shining lights for our season, and we slipped up and really let ourselves down tonight, and let a lot of people down who come along and watched us, and we've been supporting us all year, and it was really disappointing. So looking forward to moving on, and the quicker next week can come around, the better.
it felt like obviously you started poorly, but then in that third quarter it felt like you were able to hit back again. Why do you think you weren't able to, I guess, sustain that to the end of the game?
It started poorly on the back foot from the start, and they started really well. So you put those two things together and you get 40 inside 50s at half time. I think we'd given up, so that wasn't looking good early. And I mean, we shot a little bit of a shot in the third quarter there, but the game was pretty well over by then, so that probably didn't mean much.
And how are you travelling? Obviously an interrupted season so far, not so much with injury, just everything else that's going on at the moment. How are you feeling?
I'm good. I got out of my protocols on the Friday last week, so I was able to shake off the COVID and go for a run and try and get back, and I'm actually feeling okay, so it didn't hit me too badly, which was good, and the body's feeling all right. So tonight was ugly, but get to work next week and try and improve and keep building.
Send you upstairs for some questions. Clint Wilden, Ben Cameron, Shane Woewodin and Sharad Wellingham.
Luke, Shane Woewodin, commiserations, mate. Not a great night. What does Simo have to say?
He wasn't too pleased, were we?
Wasn't he?
As you can imagine. He just harped on about, we've let ourselves down. We've made a lot of people proud, I think, early in the year, and done what we could have. And, we get a few players back tonight, and we don't really turn up with a great attitude, it looked like. So, actually looking forward to reviewing that one and finding out exactly what went wrong. Probably a lot of things, but they're a really good side, and hopefully we can learn a lot from them.
I'll just butt in there, Champ. It's Sharad. He's pretty calm and collected, Simo. Was he animated at all through any of the messaging to you guys?
No, he wasn't. He was trying to get some clear messages to us. I think the line coaches might have been a bit animated throughout the night at times, but Simo was pretty good. But who knows what Monday holds in store, Shaz.
Extensive review.
And we deserve it, I think, too.
Yeah. But contest, mate, that's probably where it all starts, doesn't it? And that's probably where they got you going early. And I know it was a bit of territory early and you probably couldn't get out of your back 50 and kept coming back in. But certainly around the contest today, and particularly around ground balls, I reckon that's where they were really dominant in that first half.
Yeah, I think you're bang on, mate. Territory comes from the contest early, and I think we were either fumbly or we seemed to be falling over, and they just needed one look at it, and they were out. So they were very good in that area, and we were really poor, and that's disappointing because I think for the most part this year our contest has been reasonably consistent. We've shown some improvement on what the last few years have been like. Our contest has been a little bit better this year. We let ourselves down tonight.
Luke, it's Ben Cameron here. I'll bring some levity because if you don't laugh, you'll cry. What's the bigger blow, the 63 points or getting champed by Sharad?
No, he calls himself the champ.
Give it a rest. Give it a rest, Wellingham.
He's self-proclaimed champ.
I couldn't believe it. I almost fell off my chair.
Yeah, no, he's not bad up there on his high horse, is he? Working it out, he's going all right.
You mentioned that you felt like you were okay today. What's the feedback you're getting from players when they're coming back from COVID as to how they're responding physically when they're playing?
Yeah, well, I ended up missing 2, so that Collingwood game was my second game that I'd missed through the protocol with COVID. So I think for the most part, you probably do need to miss 2. We rushed a few guys back against Fremantle and learned our lesson. Yeah, they were a bit rusty, and the feedback was that they felt pretty average 20 minutes in. So I think for me missing 2, that's 3 weeks from when I got it, and I think if you're lucky, that's enough time to shake it off.
Luke, Sharad here, mate.
All right, champ.
So you spoke about the contest, but it looked like you guys were really stagnant when you did get the ball. I reckon you guys have tried pretty hard this year to be a bit more aggressive and take the corridor. And it really was that back off the back of their defensive structure, or did you guys just not have the options there?
We got punched in the face with field position early in the game, and it just felt like we were crunched in our D50. So when you get the ball back, you can be a bit hesitant, and you obviously spend a lot of time defending as well, so you probably haven't got the energy to go to work in in offence. So that's the byproduct of winning the contest and actually getting the game played in your half. For it, you can dig in for 5 or 10 minutes and own the territory battle. Then the other team are pretty spent, and when they do win the ball back, it's hard for them to get from one end to the other.
Luke, Clint Wilden, I feel awkward asking this question because you're one of the players coming back in, but you've had to make 3 changes, forced changes with Edwards and Natanui and McGovern. But when you have to make 6 changes to a side, when you do make 6 changes to a side, and we know that big names like yourself come in, do you think it can still unsettle a team? It's great to have the reinforcements coming in, but if it wasn't a COVID year, if it wasn't the Eagles' injuries that you've had to deal with, most of us would sit back and go, gee, 6 changes is an awful lot to make in one game. Does that have any impact when you try to bring that many blokes into a side at one hit?
Oh, possibly. I mean, the evidence would suggest that we've done it a couple of times over the last few years, and we're getting the same results. So, yeah, maybe if you've got a few more troops to pick from, you can stagger it. I think you're underdone, and you come up against a team like Sydney who are so fit and they run so hard, and on top of that, obviously winning the contest. It doesn't matter how good a player you are, you're on the back foot and you're chasing backside all day. So, yeah, potentially, if your injury list probably isn't as bad as what ours is, you might stagger it, but you just got to hope that we're better for the run next week.
What can the Eagles achieve in what's left of 2022? What can your fans hope for? You start every year hoping you can make finals and see where you go from there. What do you think you can achieve now?
Oh, we've loved our support over the first month of the year, and they've been awesome to us. We've had some great feedback, and they've really enjoyed the type of footy we've played. But we haven't given them many wins to cheer about. But with the current climate and where things are at, if we can keep building our brand and start playing pretty consistent footy, hopefully some wins start coming our way, and they can we give them something to enjoy watching. So we are on one after tonight, and hopefully next week's the week we can bounce back.
A last one too. I've found the conversation from the other side of the country quite interesting about West Coast not taking COVID seriously enough. I don't know if you've heard it, but it's definitely been put out there. How do you react as a captain when you hear such things?
Pretty similar to when a lot of other dribbles spoken about from the other side of the country, mate. I actually spent 3 nights in a hotel 2 weeks ago trying to avoid COVID because my wife went to a hens party. First day back in the house, I come down with it. So probably sums up our luck this year. But look, there's not a lot you can do. Once it got into our footy club, we tried to mitigate the risk as much as we can. But sort of like Sydney tonight, it comes at you from all angles. So anyway.
Oh, we understand that here in the ABC box as well. Look, Luke, we appreciate you coming out and chatting to us.
Absolutely.
Best of luck for the rest of the season.
Mate. Thanks, boys. Good on you.
Thanks,
well done, Luke.
Well done, Luke. Luke Shuey downstairs. It's always tough coming out to chat after a loss, particularly a loss like that. We appreciate the captain making his time available to us. We'll have a little listen to the Sydney Swans press conference, and then we'll get the votes in the Christian medal, which will be tough, I reckon. But here is a little bit of John Longmire.
G'day, John. It's Justin Chadwick here. What goes through your mind when you see the scoreboard reading 56-0?
It's just about repeating what we've done to get to that point, and it's pretty simple. It's just making sure that we stick to the process. We don't look at the scoreboard and get carried away with that. It's about repeating the process. It's got you there. And to the Eagles' credit, they're able to come back and really put some score in that third quarter, and they were able to kick really accurately. But within the last quarter, we had another good go at it, which was terrific.
And you touched on the 11 goal kickers. How much of a weapon is that when you can have such a big spread?
Yeah, it's obviously not something you have going in when you plan that, but obviously we've got Papley and Franklin sitting at home in Sydney are two of our better scoreboard hitters, and Wicks, so really 3 of our forward half players that have done a good job for us, and the boys that came in, whether it's Bell or Ronks or Logan, were able to do some good jobs, and the other boys were able to keep their form going.
And just on Papley, when do you expect him to come back?
We'll see how he is this week. He's training now at a really strong high level. He's got another session tomorrow. We'll know a bit more early next week.
Yeah. And Laddams, he seems to be a really good pickup. What did you make of his performance tonight?
Yeah, well, that's another one. Obviously, Tom Hickey being out has been so important for us. Peter came in. Tom's helped Peter with his preparation work, which has done wonders. Obviously, working with Dean Cox as well. But Peter was very good and very strong in the contest, and kept the pressure going the whole game. So I thought his performance in the ruck was pretty sound.
John Longmire downstairs after Sydney's big win. They jump up to 3rd on the ladder at this point in time. Of course, only 3 games played in the round so far, but a 63-point win over the West Coast Eagles. So the votes in the ABC Football of the Year, I'll steal them because Shane Woewodin had them earlier. 1 vote to Parker, 2 votes to Latham, 3 votes to Mills, who picked up the medal for the best on ground, the Christian medal for the best player for the West Coast Eagles. Sharad Wellingham, good luck.
Thank you. 1 vote to Ryan, chipped in with 3 goals. One was pretty late, but it was still a contribution. 2 to Naish. Thought he worked hard. Disposal was probably the only thing that let him down. And then 3 to Barras, who we thought fought really hard all day, and especially with the pressure that they were under.
So there you go. Barras picking up the best on ground for West Coast and repeating Callum Mills, best on ground, winning the medal downstairs. Thanks very much for your company, Shane Woewodin, Sharad Wellingham. Not the most outrageous game, but Sydney were tremendous.
Oh, yeah, they were good. They were really, really good.
Yeah, I love watching Sydney play.
Same.
Yeah.
Yeah,
my most admired team. Fantastic.
Over a long period
of time.
Yeah, they will be up and about the Swans for the rest of this season. On that, I have no doubt. 42,000 people in to see Sydney winning by 63 points. Earlier today, the Bulldogs in the first of the Good Friday games, 68-point winners over North Melbourne, 21-13, 139 to North 11-5-71. And, of course, the round began on Thursday with Brisbane 7-point winners over Collingwood. Hope you can join us tomorrow. The lead from midday if you're on the East Coast, Sports Talk from 10 if you're here in the West, and then St Kilda, Gold Coast, Adelaide, Richmond, Melbourne versus GWS. That's your Saturday football on Grandstand AFL. On behalf of Ben Cameron, Bridget Lacey downstairs, and our tech Marty Roth, Clint Wilden saying thank you very much for your company from here in the West. A big win for the Swans. The Eagles have got a lot of things to think about between now and the end of 2022. Thanks for being with us. Good night.
It's official. We'll be off to the polls this May.
I'm Raph Epstein. I host the Drive Show on the ABC in Melbourne. I've been asking questions of politicians in election campaigns actually for more than 20 years. I think elections have always been